to wear my Goonies shirt today.
Goonies never say that.
I didn't even think it. I've got a Goonies shirt. I didn't even think to wear it. Hey, this is episode 73 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. We're watching the Goonies tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. I can't believe I didn't. I don't know what got into me.
You're sleeping, bro. You're sleeping.
I am sleeping. It's in my closet. It's hanging in my closet, and I didn't even think to get it. I'm Dave McRae from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. He's Tony Michael in Atlanta, Georgia. It is Sunday, June the 7th, 2020, 7:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We usually do our shows on Monday nights at 7, but today we're doing it on Sunday for a very special reason.
That's right.
Tony, what is that special reason?
Today is the day, the official day. 35 years ago today, the Goonies came out to theaters, and we all were introduced to Sean Astin. And Sean Astin had done some stuff, but what's his name? Who plays? I almost said Thor, but no, not Thor. Purple guy in Avengers.
Oh, you mean yes, Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin.
This was his first flick.
That's right.
Of course, Corey Feldman had already established himself. And,
that's right.
This was, dude. I mean, this was for us. I mean, your group of boys growing up riding bikes. You were the Goonies. I mean, this was our childhood. Group of friends, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
There isn't a group of friends out there that if you were riding with your boys on your bikes, you weren't doing Goonie-esque stuff. Even if you weren't calling yourself the Goonies, you were doing Goonie type adventures. So it was so relatable, and I'm glad we're doing this.
100%. I mean, this is the movie that, and not every kid that grew up through the 1980s, of course, liked it or got into it. I mean, everybody has what they were into. I mean, I never got into The Never-Ending Story or Labyrinth or, The Princess Bride. That's one. I don't hate the movie or anything. It's just one that I probably haven't seen The Princess Bride in 30 years. It's just not one that I really got into, right? Sometimes you were a He-Man guy or you were a Transformers guy. And then sometimes you were both, or you were, you know what I mean? It's just kind of the way it went.
It was.
But for me, I was definitely a Goonie. I was a huge Goonies fan.
Oh, same here. And in our group, I don't know if it was the same up in Canada, but with our group of friends, when it came to the bike thing, there was two: Diamondback or Mongoose. That was it. There was no in between. You either rode a Diamondback, and for those in the chat who can relate, you know what I'm talking about. If you were part of that bike riding era, those were pretty much the only two options to go with. And I was a Diamondback. Did you guys have that up there in Canada?
Well, when you say Diamondback or Mongoose,
they're the brands. They're the brands.
The brands. The okay. Yes. Yeah. We had BMX as well. And so I know that I had a BMX bike, like a mountain bike kind of as a kid. But certainly the bikes that you see in the Goonies, I mean, my friends had those. And so I didn't have one of those. I just had like a little mountain bike, but certainly the bikes you're talking about. Yeah. I mean, they were here too. And anybody, I mean, that is what it was like back then. I mean,
it was, you had your group of friends and you had your bikes. I see some people mention Redline in the chat room. Now I know Redline was a popular brand. That's what I mean by everyone's area was a little bit different. And in my area of Connecticut, Redline, no one that I know of. I knew the brand, but there's no one that I knew in my little clique of friends that had a Redline. So yeah, some people in different areas may have a different brand that were the popular, bikes to have. But the point is that everybody had something like that. So when this came out, we all could relate. Like, yeah, that's us. You know what I mean? We're going on an adventure today and riding our bikes. Where are we going? I don't know.
Yeah.
Sand dunes. How many times did you end up in a sand dune somewhere? Doing
100%.
jumps and shit and BMX shit before BMX became the thing that it was.
Exactly. Or there was like, a construction site, whenever, it was off hours, you could, get in there with your bikes.
Sites were the shit.
Yes, 100%. We used to do it all the time. And it was, that's the thing that I was sort of touching on this the other day on McRae Live, and I was talking about, because somebody asked if I thought that Stranger Things could go further than 4 or 5 seasons. And I was saying how no, because the identity of Stranger Things is very, oh, they were asking that, but they were also asking if it was sort of, if, I'd like to see a Goonies sequel today. The problem with doing a Goonies sequel and what Stranger Things, because it's very Goonie-esque, is that it relies heavily on the childhood innocence, adventure, and imagination. And when you're a little boy, you can relate to that. It's great for families because it taps into the child in all of us. Even though we might be 40 years old, that we remember that time. The problem with doing a Goonies sequel now is you're unlikely to do it. If the returning cast were to come back, it's unlikely that they would be the central focus of the adventure. It would more than likely be their kids. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's a little cliche.
Capture that same lightning in the bottle with those kids. You don't know what you get with kids.
No, because it's also a different time. It's 35 years later. I mean, technology and the world we live. It's what kids are doing in terms of adventurous things today are very different than what they were doing nearly 40 years ago, and so to capture that today, it would have to be relative to, you could make a Goonies remake if you want, which actually is probably the better thing to do. And I say that, I know it sounds blasphemous, but I say that because just make it for a new generation. And I'm not going to be upset about it because it's not for me. You know what I mean? It's not for me. It's for this current generation. And, you find out, what are kids doing today? What are they into today? What sort of sense of adventure they have? And it's not that kids aren't riding their bikes anymore at all, but certainly the world has changed. And if you were to do a sequel today with the original cast, it's not like they're all going to be out there in their 50s trucking around going on a, one-eyed, Willy adventure. I mean, and if you do that, it would seem sort of sad and kind of lame and very It Chapter 2. I mean, I said this too, that and now I actually don't think It Chapter 2 in both the miniseries and the feature film, I don't think they're as bad as people make them out to be. I actually think they're a lot better, but certainly you do feel a loss when you get to both chapter 2 in both parts, because you're losing the childhood innocence. That is what makes it. It's that imagination run wild, the adventure, that, all these things that you have when you're a child that you tend to lose when you're adult is the crux of movies like It and The Sandlot and Monster Squad and The Goonies and The Gate and The Explorers and E.T. for for better or worse, and well, not for worse, but for all intents and purposes, it's not quite that kind of a movie, but that kind of thing, right? And it relies so heavily on that. So Stranger Things, again, when the kids are already like, hey man, what's going on? I'm 17. I mean, they're already there. That by the time you get to like 18, 19, 20, it's not the same. I mean, sex, girls, college, it takes over, that childhood innocence is not the same. So in regards to a Goonies sequel, I just think I think that ship, no pun intended, has sailed probably about 33 years ago. I think that there probably should have been a sequel to the Goonies in like 1988, or something to that degree, or 87. But I just think it would be great for nostalgia, but damn well that's not going to be Josh Brolin running around there going, come on, Mikey. I mean, it's going to be their kids, and I don't want to see that. How do you feel about a sequel?
I'm totally a guy.
Yeah, you feel sort of the same way. Sorry, I was talking a lot there. I just
it's cool. I mean, I don't really care about the sequel, but I did want to comment on Han Gruber's comment because the shoe was also the key to your bike or your skateboard. And he was talking about shoe brand back then. His were the Pro 500 from James Way. I had friends of mine who rocked those. Mine was I had two. The Air Jordans, the 1s and the 3s. Mainly I wore those when I played basketball and rode my bike. But when I was on my board, I had the Airwalks.
I had Airwalks.
Airwalks were like super popular, even if you skateboarded or not, but they were definitely popular with skaters back in the day before Vans became the thing, because Tony Hawk was famously had a photo taken wearing Airwalks, and like we're all like, I want those, and like
Right.
trendy things happen. And you got to remember,
for sure.
Tony Hawk made airwalks trendy for skaters because of a magazine photo we all saw. We didn't see this shit online. So for me, it was the airwalks, and then obviously the Air Jordans were also the big popular shoe for it. But I did have friends who had the James Wave Pro 500s. That was some boys of mine did rock those as well too. So yeah, that's cool that you wore those. Yeah,
I did.
Shoes were a thing too. Your shoe and your bike. That's what defines you.
Shoes were a very big thing. Absolutely. Shoes were definitely a big thing. Okay, there we go. So let's do this. Okay, folks, we're watching The Goonies tonight, 1985, directed by Richard Donner, produced by Steven Spielberg, starring Sean Astin, Corey Feldman, Josh Brolin, I forget the other, whatever
that looks like Alyssa Milano, but it's not Alyssa Milano, a redhead version of her.
That's right. And of course, the little boy that played Data, or that played Short Round in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom the year before. I forget his name because, of course, it's a Japanese name. I think he's Japanese, I believe, as opposed to, I think he's Japanese. Anyway,
yeah, he is. He's also an indie, right? He plays indie short.
That's what I just said. Yeah, he played Short Round in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. So let's get this underway. Now, where Tony and I are, I'm just watching it from YouTube. I am 2 seconds in. The Warner Brothers logo is on the screen. I am 2 seconds into that. So I will let you guys get it all lined up there, and then let's get this underway. So and again, as Tony said, that is why we're doing it today instead of tomorrow's, because today is to the day, the 35th anniversary of when The Goonies was released. So while you guys get set up there, I'll read these couple of super chats. The Sting sends a super chat, says, "Hey, you dudes." Thank you, Sting. Appreciate that, man. Geeked Out Turtle Fan 40 sends a super chat. Thank you very much. Says, "Guys, who were your favorite Goonies? Mine was Chunk and Data."
I don't think I have one. I think I like them all because I think we all could relate to each of the characters so well. You know what I mean? Yes. I think there's a little bit of all of us in each of the characters. I think you're little leadership quality, little mouth. You know what I mean?
Yep. I think
the innovator.
Right. Yep. I think you're right. I'm going to side with Tony on that. Mud Nelson sends in a super chat supporting the channel. Thank you very much, Mud. Really appreciate that. All right, let's go. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Here we go. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right. Oh, the Goonies. The Goonies, the Goonies, the Goonies. There's the skull going right into the eye now. Steven Spielberg presents. Start to hear the chains and everything. Actually, for those of you that didn't know this, and I stand to be corrected, but I believe Steven Spielberg directed the opening of this movie.
The jail scene here?
Yes. Now,
where are you at? Because I think mine got hicked up for a second. Just want to make sure we're good.
Mine says The Goonies is on the screen now.
Okay, I'm at the jail cell scene. It skipped.
Now the jail.
Let me know when you get to the guy turns and sees the dude hanging and faking it.
All right.
Yeah, mine did jump there for me. Had a little
jump. Okay.
Yeah, Robert Thitoff, great soundtrack too. I love the Cyndi Lauper song on this.
Fantastic. All right, so the camera's coming in. Camera pans up. There's the guy hanging. All right. And the guard is entering the cell now.
Cool.
Yeah, there we are. But Donner, of course.
Yeah.
Richard Donner directed the movie, but I believe Steven Spielberg directed this opening, if I'm not mistaken.
Of course he did.
Of course he did. He had to get his hands on it somewhere, right? I mean, this is, and again, I mean, he needed to have his. I mean, this is if Donner didn't direct this movie, Spielberg would have directed. I mean, this is a Spielberg film. He's got. You know what I mean? Like it's. It's the kind of movie. Yeah. Kind of movie you definitely do. Oh, I love this sound. Like just this music here is fantastic. Come on,
it's perfect. It has almost a childlike kid overture sound to it.
Oh yes,
you know what I mean.
Sense of adventure.
Yep.
That's Anne Ramsey, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, she plays their mom.
Right. Throw Mama from the Train. She was also on an episode of Elf. I love this. Love this woman. I love this woman. This, of course, was shot in Astoria, and that jail is still there. It's not jail, of course, but it's there, and I believe they even have a Goonies little sort of. I think the truck is there for people to see. I think. Bum, 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 bum,
Back in the
bum,
80s
bum,
when
bum, bum.
breaking someone out of jail was actually believable.
That's right.
Can't do that
That's
shit
right.
now.
No, that's right. That's right. Jeff Cohen, of course,
She's
it's
just
Chunk.
eating saltine crackers like, yeah, this is another
whatever.
day, another Sunday afternoon.
That's it. Whatever. Just eating those saltines. Whatever.
The location they picked for this is perfect too. The filming location.
Yes, but it's got that small town. I mean,
Exactly.
You could have done this in any small town in America, but certainly being a coastal town just adds to that,
Yep.
mood and atmosphere because of course of the rain and the ocean and the water and and it just adds. It's just a great coastal town. Here we are coming up to
the parallel, the old gangster movie with the car chase to the movie. That was cool.
Corey Feldman, folks. Is the water going down, son?
We had a microwave like that.
Did you?
Yeah, we had a microwave like that.
That's great. Yeah.
I love seeing that shit. And I know I've said that before, but I do love seeing shit that we had in our house growing up in the 80s when we watched these old movies. I'm like, oh, yeah, we had that shit.
Right. Because it was normal.
Yeah.
It wasn't a period piece. It's just what we had. Oh, there's a lot of things. Like I think there's a couple of chandeliers, like kitchen stuff that I've seen in Stranger Things where I'm like, oh, I had that exact chandelier.
Yeah.
Or that exact placemat.
I think Data's wearing the Airwalks. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's wearing the Nike Air. Like what I'm saying. I think he's wearing Nike Airwalks. Like those shoes were popular as hell, man.
Didn't Chunk there just go, oh, shit? Did he say that? I thought he did.
I think he did.
Because, of course, nowadays you wouldn't get swearing in kids' movies. But
the movie like this today, no, you wouldn't get shit in a movie like, no way. People would be walking out offended and pissed off.
It's too bad because
how could you do this to my kid?
Whether you like to realize it or not, kids swear, folks. Kids at 10 years old are out on the playgrounds going, fuck you, pussy. That's right, parents. They are. I'm telling you, they are. Yes, they are.
God, I was cussing by the time I was 9.
Now, the screenplay is by Chris Columbus, based on a story by Steven Spielberg. Chris Columbus, of course, went on to Home Alone and the first 2 Harry Potter films. Yeah. And yeah, he was a screenwriter before he turned to directing. Beautiful shot, panning across. You just see sort of like, the side. It looks like it's, well, this is morning, I guess, right? Supposed to be morning, I think?
Looks like it's morning time.
Yeah, I guess it's morning. I thought it was going to be maybe sunset or whatever. It's the morning. Directed by Richard Donner. Of course, Richard Donner went on to direct, he directed a lot of movies, but probably most famously, the Lethal Weapon films. Of course, all 4 of those as well. He directed a bunch of stuff, but... Oh my God, I used to watch this movie over and over and over. I'd rent it, I'd pop it into the VCR, and I'd probably watch it once, and then I would rewind it, play it again, but I would be playing with my toy. Like I just had it on in the background all day.
Yeah.
It was just there. You know what I mean? I loved this movie.
We had the 2 VCRs, so we did the VCR to VC. When we rented it, we recorded it, so we had it. You were not supposed to do that.
No,
shit back in the day.
weren't. No, you weren't.
That was a bad no. But we did.
There's some 80
there he is,
there.
Josh Brolin.
Young Josh. He's about, what is he, 18 here, I think? Something like that?
16. This is his first
17.
film. Little did we know, with one snap of the finger, he'd destroy us all.
That's right. That's right, man. That's right. What's going on in the chat? Entertainment Wizard said, you're right, Dave. I was playing a round of Friday the 13th online, and some kid was playing against me, and the words that came out of his mouth shocked me. Round of online? You mean now, you mean? Because the internet wasn't a thing back when. You must mean now. Is this your first time seeing the movie? Sorry, I'm confused.
Because I'm confused as well too.
Yeah. I love that sound effect they add in there as he goes after.
I live in love training for.
That's it. Here it comes. The truffle shuffle. Here it is. Lift up your shirt, kids. Show those abs. Let's go. First, you got to do the truffle shuffle. Come on.
Oh my God. Could you imagine
Do
this
it!
today? This today in a movie?
Oh God, you could know. Now, Chunk here,
Couldn't do
actually, Jeff Cohen said he was just getting over the chicken pox. And if you look carefully, when it goes to the close-up, you can almost see little hang on.
Spots.
Little spots. Let's see here. Oh, I thought we see him. Oh, I thought we saw him closer
I like
than
this
that.
MacGyver way of how they were able to open up the fence and shit when he really could have just lifted the thing and probably walked in.
Every kid watching this movie is like,
I tried to do something like that. It didn't work nearly as good as you saw in the movie, but you tried.
This was great.
Oh, yeah,
what
we
an
tried,
exhaustive...
especially with our forts. When we would build a fort in the woods, we would try to build contraptions like this. Never looked at anything near as good as that.
Oh yeah, and what a yeah, it's so great. What's so great about this too is that I remember Richard Donner said that, you know, obviously there's a script and the kids are supposed to follow the script, but he said he wanted them to talk over each other because not only is that now again, it depends on what the information is, right? But one way of instilling natural sort of conversational dialogue between people is to have them talk over each other as they're talking. Now, you want to, you know, have that nuanced if you're having it as adults, but when you have a bunch of kids, it really works. Now, if there's something specific, an important piece of information you need, obviously, you know, you hone in on that. But if you want to show the kids chemistry and the kids camaraderie and the kids being kids, he said, I had them talk over each other because it's what kids do. They're excited. They're, hey, what's going on? No. Oh, yeah. Oh, and it just seems really organic. It seems like they're not acting, you know, and that was a smart, very, very smart move. Yeah, you know,
Austin's reaction. Sean Austin's reaction when thing falls out of his mouth.
I know. Oh my God. Corey Feldman's hair. That is what my hair looked like.
Hair. I
did.
About that around that time. Well, that was my hairstyle. That feathered back, you know, spiky look.
I had that a little bit, but I also, if it got long, I got to admit, I had a bit of Chunk's hair. Because, you know, my hair's curly and it was just kind of all over the place. Yeah. Now, Tony and I were a bit younger than what the kids are here. The kids here are probably about 11 or 12. Tony and I in 85 are 6. Yeah. So we're a bit younger, but certainly, I mean, it's, you know, we're close enough that this is pretty much what it was. And certainly when we got to like, you know, 87, 88, 89,
this is
where
totally
we were like
us.
9 and 10, this is totally us.
Yep.
Yeah, I know the stuff the stuff he interprets for the housekeeper is just like you, but it was just that. Yeah, it's what kids do. Like nowadays, it's not that I don't think kids should be seeing everything under the sun, but I just think this is a very it's, I don't know. The fuck does he got in his mouth? Was he eating crackers or food or something? The hell does he have in his mouth? I have no idea what that is. No idea. Yeah, I know. And it's just like you wouldn't get that now. There's no way you'd get that now.
Nowadays,
no, you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. You couldn't do it.
It's unfortunate that you can't do it now, but you should be able to do it. And for it to still be lighthearted and okay to have a sense of humor.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I love the way she's all like scared and shit. It's just funny. That's so great.
With the cockroaches. And this, folks, is the reason why Corey Feldman was not in the Friday the 13th Part 5 movie.
That is correct. Not that
he really missed out, but, then again, who knows?
Well, he was in the beginning. He was in the beginning, Part 5. He was in
his backyard. That's right. The backyard.
In his backyard.
Scene, or
that's
the
right.
wood scene
That's right.
In his backyard.
That's right.
Yeah.
Entertainment Wizard says, you were saying, Dave, parents today get offended because their kids don't swear and then they're protect. But when I was playing the Friday 13th against some kid, what came out of his mouth shocked me. Oh, when you were playing a Friday the 13th game online, something came out of the... I see what you're saying. Okay. Oh, yeah, like here he's... Oh, shit, what? Like, I mean... It's just funny stuff. That's just funny, though.
Frank the Tank, Super Chat miss, bud. DT, I got an idea for a Goonies sequel. Willie gets his revenge on the Goonies for stealing his stones and kills each one off. Oh, wait, that's the fog. I see what you did there, Frank. I see what you did there. $5 Super Chat. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, Super Chat. Frank says, I got an idea for a Goonies sequel. Willie gets his revenge on the Goonies for stealing his stones and kills each one. Oh, wait, that's the fog. That's actually kind of true. That's actually, well, the fog came out before the Goonies, but yeah, I get what you're saying. That would be funny, actually. Everyone dies. Everyone just fucking dies. Kill everybody. It becomes really it becomes this really dark sort of tale. You know what I mean? Really, really dark and crazy.
Also, by the way, a little fun fact, folks. Crap, I forgot his name now. Anyways, you've seen the movie National Treasure with Nicolas Cage?
Yeah. Oh, that's a great movie.
Do you remember the opening sequence when he's talking to his grandfather in the attic and he gets the treasure map? They purposely dressed the young actor who's playing the Nick Cage character in that film, like Mikey from the Goonies. If you look at it, they're dressed very similar with the jean jacket, gray type sweater underneath.
All right, I'll check it out.
Has that same type of look.
Right,
and they did that on purpose, kind of a little nod to the Goonies.
Gotcha. Interesting. I'll check that out the next time I watch it.
Which fits because of what National Treasure
for
is.
Sure.
Which is a great movie. I love that movie.
Oh, it's a great movie. I love this here with Brand. Is that his name? Brand, right?
Is it Brand or Brandon?
I think it's Brandon, but it's Brand for short or whatever.
For short.
I love how he's over there, looking at stuff, and then you just kind of hear, the kids in the background, but he's so enamored, with what he's looking at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Love this.
Shit keeps falling.
I just love how, it's raining outside, and it's kind of
good mood and atmosphere.
Yes, it's great. It is, and the soundtrack is great. Like the score, I mean, right here, you hear the thunder.
Yeah.
Nah, nah, nah. It's just so great.
How do I get this open? Chunk.
Yeah, Chunk. That's right, Chunk.
Most reliable source.
And he counts it down too. He's like 5, 4, 3. It's coming up here in a sec. Hold this because we know you're a klutz and you're going to drop it. Look at his Hawaiian shirt too. It's just beautiful. Old ladies wear that shit. Oh, and down goes the smashes. They're opening it up. Treasure map. 1632. It's a long time ago, folks. I love how they're talking. It's just great. I really believe that they're friends. I believe that they've been friends for a long time.
For a long time, yeah.
I totally.
That's how we would talk to each other. We'd be talking over each other.
Talking over each other, yeah. I really believe that they're friends, and that's important. That's important. There's a saying in filmmaking that the most difficult aspects or things to work with are children and animals, And, you know, Richard Donner will tell you that as much fun as he had making this movie, it was extraordinary. And they're very talented kids. It was, I mean, he was like a wrangler trying to wrangle them in when they weren't shooting, because obviously they were full of energy and hyper and eager. And I mean, you know, it's working with kids ain't easy, man. I like this. It's like, set up booby traps. Booby traps? That's what I said.
Booby traps.
I think he says booty traps. Mike says booty traps here. Look at Chuck's face. He's like, or Chunk's face. He's like really into it, you know? I love how close they are to each other too. How close Data's face is to Sean's, like to Mike's face, right? Like, they're very close. Like, it's like, are you fucking serious, dude? Like, he's like, look at that. I love that.
Endeavor.
Of course, you got, you know, the skeptic up there. It's great. I love it. I love it. That's right. Hans Gruber says Chester Copperpot. Yeah. What a great name. Chester Copperpot. It's such a great, you know, name for something like that.
That is kind of a cool name when you think about it. What's your name? Chester Copperpot.
Chester Copperpot.
That's the sequel I want. I want a prequel to the story of Chester Copperpot and his adventure.
Yes, and the movie's just called Copperpot.
Copperpot.
And Copperpot.
To the Goonies.
Copperpot.
Of course, we know the ending isn't going to be too good for Copperpot.
That's true.
Because they do find him.
Yep. Copperpot, a Goonies story. It becomes this whole shared cinematic universe.
Exactly.
I love the look of that old guy there, too. It's perfect.
That's Copperpot.
I know. Just looks great. Listen to this music. Listen to this, the wonder and mystique and
that's what I'm saying. The score is a very childlike adventure score, and they did that so well.
So well, like it's full
because you can appreciate it as an adult, but you're a kid. You're loving it. It's bringing you in further and further.
Because you can hear the magic. You can hear the tinkling of the magic in the score, and that's what's so great. That imagination, you can feel it. Justin Simonson sends in a generous super chat. Thank you, Justin says. You think a sequel could work if the kids went back in time to 1632 and were involved with Willie in his last days? How they would get back to the past would be something kind of like them crossing the Bermuda Triangle. Do you mean like the kids as the adults now, like in their late 40s, early 50s? Or do you mean when they were kids? Let me know. Just at me and I'll stem off that. Is your mommy home? What a pretentious, condescending prick. It's great though. He's great. He's a great little
I literally
villain,
just had like heart failure for a second because someone said John, and I was like, wait, that's not the right actor because he said Chunk had died. I'm like, no, Chunk didn't die because they just did a reunion thing.
Yeah, no,
but
Chunk didn't die.
The actor who played Sloth died.
Oh, died like 30 years ago.
Yeah,
he died.
He's like a wrestler and he was a football player, right?
He was a former football player. Yeah, he died in.
I literally, when I saw that post, I started Googling. I'm like, wait a second, what?
Yeah, no.
Like my stomach just dropped. I was like, no, that's not true.
No, the guy that plays Chunk, Jeff Cohen, he's an entertainment lawyer now. He's been out of acting for, years. And but he's an entertainment lawyer. So he's still in the business, but he's just a lawyer.
Yeah.
Love this music,
I like
too.
The single leaf dropping there, the feel of fall. You know, you got the tree colors in the background of fall. Kind of looks like it's at the beginning stages of fall because you got a little bit of green. You got you got the early stages of some of the
maybe like late September.
That's my favorite time.
Do we know when this takes place? What month?
It's got to be somewhere at the beginning of fall, end of summer, because I mean, you got trees in the background there that it partially have turned. You see the colors.
It's got to be.
It's dropping.
You're right because they're out of school, so it's got to be. Maybe it's August, heading back, because they're not in school.
Could be just a weekend too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just
School
could be
year weekend in the fall.
Yeah, I think it's summer though. I think it's summer vacation. But you could be right. I love this, how they're just sitting there and they're trying to figure out what to do, and Chunk's eating the cream, and
That's what we did back in the day, though.
I know.
We would hang out for like an hour. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do?
Oh, yeah.
Where you want to go?
For sure.
I don't know where you want to go.
For sure.
That, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Me too.
Because it would be an adventure. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's it. That's it. It's crazy stuff, man. Let me see here. Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum-bum. What's going on here? Intel Wild says, well, I'm a big supporter of the show and have sent probably $200 to $300 in super chats alone, so I'll just leave. See ya. What's going on?
What happened? I missed
what
something.
happened?
Cindy!
What's going on?
Me. Yeah.
I don't understand.
I don't know. I'm confused too.
What's going on, Intel? What's wrong, buddy? Speak up. Speak up. Let us know what's going on. And you've been a great supporter to the channel. Yeah, no doubt about that.
That's why I'm like confused. Like I'm trying to think. Did we say something like bad? Like did I say something bad?
No, there's got to be something going on in the chat that I'm not aware of. So I'm not really sure what's going on. Long story, Dave. Oh, long story. What was going on in the chat? I don't know. Like,
was it something one of us said or I said? Or
I don't know.
Like,
you have to understand, folks, that I'm half paying attention to the chat and also watching the movie. If there's anything going on in the chat, that's what the moderators are there for. And of course, if anything gets out of hand, then naturally, they're supposed to.
What's cool about
let me know
this
what's
town,
going on.
Astoria? There's a lot of, in New England, especially where I grew up in the Connecticut area, once you start getting along the coastline of New England, Rhode Island, and Mass, there's a lot of, in Maine as well, too, there's a lot of little towns that look like Astoria. So it was very easy for me, too, because I would visit cousins who lived in neighborhoods like this and whatnot. I'm like, oh, this looks like, when we're down at the shore. Right.
What's going on? Let's see here. Okay, let's quickly check this out. Scroll up, see what's going on. Well, I don't have time to scroll up and read everything that was going on, but somebody was. Let me see here.
Listen, guys, do I need to start singing Cyndi Lauper's song here? Because I can't sing.
Oh, yeah. The Goonies Are Good Enough is playing right now.
It's gonna be bad.
This. Love The Goonies Are Good Enough. And of course, the kids are taking off. I love that Brand is about, he's going to take, as if you would do that. As if you would just take this bike and just go out.
Well, it's Data's
sister. As if you would do that.
Data lived next door, so it's Data's little sister.
That's true. That is true. So I guess he didn't feel as bad, right? Didn't feel as bad. And I love this here. The Goonies Are Good Enough songs.
Drone shots before drone shots were cool.
Yeah, it would have been a helicopter probably. It changes. It changes from the song to the score, but listen to the score again. There's
subtle
magic.
Score.
Yeah, there's magic and mystery. There's mystery in that score. The tankling, the clinkling of the music.
Not only that, the realism of the scene here of them on the road like this. It doesn't feel fake. You know what I mean?
No.
It looks real. It looks like someone's out there with their camera filming their friends. And there's obviously the West Coast shoreline, which is one of the most beautiful coastal lines out there, man.
There is one bad CGI shot or the blue screen shot coming up. Frank Riker says Intel is offended by a YouTube name handle. Oh, okay. A YouTube name handle. What's the handle? What's going on?
Is it making fun of someone?
I don't know. What is it? What's going on here?
Poor Brand on this little bike.
Oh, I see the handle. Confederate white. I see. And then the exchange is, in all seriousness, I wasn't trying to be racist with my name. I was just trying to display two things, my heritage and my last name. Your heritage. Well, the Confederate flag wouldn't necessarily be your heritage, but look, I mean,
there's not much we can do.
I will say this. Okay. I see that he changed his name to David White. Okay, cool. If your last name's White, I mean, that's fine. There's a lot of last names are white. I'm not going to ban anybody with a Confederate flag because growing up as a young boy, I mean, I was a fan of the Dukes of Hazzard, and maybe you're a fan of the Dukes of Hazzard, and that's, you know, why you have it there. If you say you're not racist and you don't cause any problems in the chat room, you're not, you know, causing any issues in the chat, and you don't have anything, or, you know, you're not saying anything that's racist or concerning or trying to start trouble, having the Confederate flag on your skin, that's fine. That's fine. You know,
guys, I can't believe I'm going to be the reason of voice here. Can we just hang out and watch the fucking Goonies?
Exactly.
You know? Like,
no, I agree, but
there's the green screen shot you were talking about.
It was, but I need to mention this though, because it did, you know, cause a problem for somebody, but just know that he's changed his name to David White. Okay, it's probably best to just do that under the circumstances, especially what's going on now. But I'm not going to ban anybody for the flag alone. It would be words contributed to that. So hopefully everything is all right, and Intel Wild can come back. As long as there's nothing racist going on in the chat, then and having a name like David White, I don't see any issues with it.
And now the adventure begins.
Yeah, and that restaurant there was built. That wasn't actually there. That was actually built.
It's a set, right?
That's right. Yeah. That was built as a set. It's no longer there. I mean, the area is there. You still find
area's there, yeah.
The area, but yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of photographers
yep.
shoot this area. I mean, it's a beautiful spot to take landscape pictures, especially the ocean, sunsets and shit.
Yep.
The Fratellis.
Yeah, it's just a pot. It's just a pot. I love it. I love how, you know, Chunk is the one that's
Chunk
totally
is the voice of reason.
Yeah, exactly. He's the voice of reason. He's like, come on, guys, you know, let's not fucking do this.
But tell me not. We had a buddy just like that in our group of friends.
Everybody
who was always trying
Chunk.
to tell us not to do this, and we're like, come on, dude, we're gonna do this.
Everybody had a Chunk.
Be here, guys. Nope.
It's totally true. It's totally true. And if you didn't have a Chunk in your group, then you were Chunk. I'm just saying.
It's true.
And I was kind of a chunky, and I don't know if I was as chunky as Chunk, but I was a little chunky when I was his age. Bullet holes. I love this.
The bullet
holes. I love this. Look at his face. Look at his face. It's so great. He's all like, what the hell? It's great.
Oh, man. He's like just spazzing out.
That's it.
That's awesome.
It's so great. It's like I love when they start to interview Chunk as well.
Oh yeah,
you know?
And he starts listening off all
tell
the stuff
me
he did
everything.
wrong.
everything.
Everything.
In first grade, I was, and he starts going through everything. It's so funny. The confidence that Mouth has, eh? Yeah. You want? How about tongue? All we got around here is tongue. Yeah. Manhammer AR-15 says, I'm an 80s baby and I've never seen the Goonies, nor am I embarrassed about it. I shouldn't be embarrassed about it. I don't think there's anything wrong with I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No.
There's
good. Some movies. There are some popular movies from the 80s that I haven't seen, like Labyrinth. Never seen Labyrinth.
That's right.
What else? There's another popular 80s movie that I never saw.
Robert Thidoff says, super chat, thank you. Robert says, I'm shocked they never made a Saturday morning Goonies cartoon. No, there was a Nintendo game, though. Wasn't there a Nintendo game, like a Goonies 2 Nintendo game? I think there was.
Might have been.
I think there was. Bobby Hall says, hey, Dave and Tony, the actor who plays Jake Fratelli lives near me, and I often do video editing for him. Very cool. He's also a singer, and I edited his acting reel that he plays at his concerts. Awesome stuff. Well, next time you speak to him, say hello to
Definitely
Jake Fratelli. And, yeah. If I knew that, we could have set something up with him and been like, hey, let's all watch it together, Jake. Look at the water. Look at the color of the water. It's like this brown water. Oh, it's just great.
Like iced tea. It's probably iced tea. Like
yeah. For sure. Iced tea or yeah.
The old,
probably iced tea.
Do you remember the old like red and yellow Lipton iced tea boxes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I like when Chunk goes in the beat, he's like, sounds like Kong. Mama.
Oh yeah, this is
singing the opera
introduction to Sloth.
Yeah. Look at Mikey, this is so great, too. Like, what a great idea when writing this to have a character like Sloth.
Oh, he's the monster who ultimately becomes the hero.
Yeah, exactly. But it's such a great thing to have. Like, it just takes it up a notch, because you're not introduced to him at the beginning of the movie. You're introduced to the two guys, the mama, and you think, okay, those are our main antagonists. But then you got Sloth in there, and you're like, whoa, this is like shit just got real.
Hey, you guys.
Yeah. Hey, you guys. Jesus, that was any boy growing up through the 80s. I think there's even a YouTube channel called Hey, You Guys.
How's the feed going, guys? Because Dave keeps freezing up on my end, but I hear him.
Oh, wait.
I hear you fine, but you do keep freezing up on me. I just want to check with them and see how the feed is.
All right.
Well, you could just be freezing on me, and it's fine as long as they're not getting frozen up.
Gotcha. Because
I can still hear everything you're saying.
Okay, cool. That's good. Just want to make sure that's good. Get out of here, you son of a bitch!
Come back.
And if they had never come back, oh, I love this. Kids suck. It's so great the way she says it too. There's pause. It's so true. Kids can, yeah, absolutely, 100%.
I concur.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I never had any. Love my niece and nephews, but
nope. Yeah, I hear you.
Good at being an uncle.
But no, I mean, this is so like, it's like, oh, that's right. They witnessed that. That's right. They witnessed something strange. Look how beautiful that looks back there. There's so much mood and atmosphere with the mountains in the background, and it just looks great.
You know what Spielberg was probably doing? I need more seagulls behind them. Can you throw more food behind there? I need more.
That's right. Yeah, I need more sequels.
Not enough. I need more.
I need more seagulls. That's right.
Seagulls. Throw more food. If you're filming a movie and you need seagulls in your shot, just throw a bunch of food down. You're good.
That's it. And of course, the ladies are about to. Oh, there they are. Yeah.
And now, for the first time at the 37 mark, we see the full Goonies together.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right. 37 minutes. That's right. 37 minutes. That's right. How's the chat room doing here? Let's see. I missed any super chats? I don't think I did. No, Robert Kuroff was
Edwin A. Soto. With that atmosphere, Tony's doing a Goonies photo shoot soon. Probably not anytime soon. That's a tough one to do because I don't live anywhere near a coastline. I'd have to go over to South Carolina, or I could go to Savannah, but still that's like about 5 or 6 hours away.
Yeah, that's true.
Or I don't have really. Well, they got the the gold mines here that are sort of like an underground tunnelist. Yeah, underground tunnel like vibe. I could do something in there. It comes down to finding the kids too that I can have portray the kids from the Goonies. But no, it won't be anytime soon.
Yeah. Super chat comes in from Archie Riverdale. Thank you, Archie. Says, I know a good sequel. Show One-Eyed Willie storyline. Chester Copperpot, I think you mean. Storyline. The kids storyline. Kind of like an amplified version of the movie. It will be a retelling of the story. Oh, I see what you're saying. So sort of do like a reboot, but you tell everything. That would be a long movie. That'd be a long movie. And you certainly don't want to rush anything. I mean, maybe... Yeah, that'd be a long movie. But I get what you're saying, though. Yeah, you could show all three, but the kids would have to be like sort of the crux of your narrative. I love this. Sounds like Kong. And I love how he walks up into the frame. I love that. He's like back there and he's afraid, but then he's like, sounds like Kong. Like, he's got a sense of confidence all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So good. Good old Kong. And the music, again, it's like mysterious and eerie. But as Tony said, and he's very right, there's still, in the score, there's always a childlike adventure to it, to the sound and the feel.
Yep.
Like even this here where you see, it's just very old. Yeah, it's hard to explain, but. Shame, shame, I know your name. Sounds so lame right now, but that's what we did as kids.
It does.
Remember doing that? Tis,
we did lame shit.
Remember that? I remember kids doing that in my school. Tis, it wasn't shame. It was like tis tis.
I remember.
Whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. Tis tis.
No, I remember though. I remember in the 3rd grade that holding hands and putting your arms around each other was a really big deal. Like that was like huge shit. Like, oh my God, they held hands. Oh my God, they put their arms around each other. Of course, now it's like nothing.
Oh yeah, now it's not a.
Kids are doing that by fucking kindergarten.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is where I love the scene. He's like, I got it. Shh, I don't got it. Yeah. Definitely a klutz. He's definitely a klutz, folks.
Definitely was.
Yeah.
There's a dream.
I love her. Yeah, I love her. Oh, come on. Where are you? I love her. She's great. I love how she
does look like Alyssa Milano at the time that Alyssa Milano
was a little
was
bit.
popular.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, like a redheaded version of her, right? Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's It's great. Now, of course, we are 42 minutes and 10 seconds into the movie here, and they're about to go into the fireplace there. Or at the scene where Data thinks he's found money being printed, but obviously he hasn't. Let's see what's going on here. Darren Sands, one of my great moderators.
$50 bills.
Yeah. Says, I'll be honest, I'm not a fan. I missed it at the cinema and watched it on VHS in the 90s in my 20s. I think I missed the boat. The movie gives me a headache. Too much shouting. You're right. There is a lot of shouting in this movie. You're definitely correct on that, man. Can totally see why. Yes, you know what? There's some films, too. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I know there's some, too, that people like adore that Never Ending Story and Princess Bride and things like that. I mean, I didn't see it later in life. I did see it as a kid, but it didn't resonate with me as it did some others. So yeah, no, I know what that's like. And what's so funny about this too is that we sometimes forget that Chunk, although he goes this far, but he doesn't go with them on the adventure underground. He gets caught and locked in the.
That's true. He doesn't go on the main adventure. He doesn't come back and reunite with them till the end.
Till the pirate ship but he has his own adventure, right? He has his own adventure with the Fratellis and with Sloth. That's right. So it's just kind of like I sometimes forget that. Now, if you watch carefully, he does blink the dead body right there. As he leaned in on them, as he fell out, there was just a little bit of a blink, just a light blink. But in my own head, I'm like, maybe one of the kids blew wind on, or something, and just, I try to justify it that way. I love this too. The walking on the floors above, and you see the dirt kind of fall through the cracks. I love that. Love that. Love this shot of them all together with the light down on them. It's great work. I mean, it's a well shot film, great kids adventure. Shh. Of course, this guy here was in The Fugitive too. Not the
Joe, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, he was in. He's been in a bunch of films as a character actor, but I think he was also in The Fugitive as well. Tyler Davis says, you couldn't make this movie today. You can't recreate this charm. Yeah, and there's also things in it that is just not appropriate for kids.
Sort of did with Stranger Things, kind of.
That's true. That is true. That's true. That's a good point. It's a very Goonies-esque. Yeah. But again, it's set in 1980.
So they could make it, but they have to set it in 1980 in order to capture that charm.
Yeah, kids today are, and again, like I said,
well, what it is, and it's no fault of kids today, and it's just we're so advanced with technology that the charm that we had in the 80s without the technology, you can't duplicate anymore, and that's not. It's not a fault to anyone. It's just we've advanced in technology. I was just about to say that it's not that kids aren't riding their bikes today. Of course, kids ride their bikes. I see them. Of course they are.
But it's different. There's
you have more options today.
I was just gonna say that there's more going on in the world today. There's more distractions. There's more things that kids are doing today. They're not going outside a lot. They're not doing a lot of the things that we used to do. I mean, there was no internet. There were no cell phones. There were video games, but we didn't play all day. We were outside a lot.
No.
A lot. I mean, and we wanted to be outside too.
Video gaming was like literally a last resort. Like you would play your video games with your buddies. Like if it was a sleepover on the weekends, you'd be playing at night. You would not be playing during the day. You were utilizing that time outdoors, being outside, doing whatever, playing, pickup games, whether it's football or basketball or riding your bikes or skating or whatever. That's what you were doing until it's time to go in. And then you go in and you pop on either your movies you rented or you do both. You have the movies you rented playing while you're playing your Nintendo or Genesis,
Right.
That's what it was. Gaming for us was like literally low priority. Whereas now it's the reverse. It's, if you ain't gaming, you ain't in.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And you know, it's just, and like I said, we wanted to go outside. You know, we wanted to be outside. We didn't want to come home. You know what I mean? Because there was so much going on and so much adventure and things we were doing and getting into trouble and, you know, but not serious trouble, but just, you know, shenanigans. You know what I mean? And and that all changed when the internet came around.
It did. And sneaking out was so much fun too. Oh my God. You know, because you didn't know. And you didn't know who was going to be able to get out and who wasn't going to be able to get out. You know, today you guys got your cell phones. You can be like, so you coming? We had a spot where we were going to meet and you didn't know who was going to show or not. And you usually give that person, like, if like 12 o'clock was the time you were going to meet and 2 or 3 didn't show out of your group of 10 of kids, you give them like a 30-minute window, and if they're not showing, you're off into the middle of the night doing your fun shit.
That's it. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Yep, for sure. I love this. Yeah, and they like last for like what, 10 seconds here, and then they go out.
The lights, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they don't last very long, guys. And the set design in this movie is fantastic. I mean, the pirate ship, and of course there's that thing where the kids didn't even see the pirate ship until they turned around because Donner wanted an authentic reaction from them. I mean, the pirate ship is beautiful, the water slides, I mean, everything. You know, you got to hand it to the production design. It is great. I love this too. Chunk thinks he's found safety, and the guy's like, what seems to be the problem?
Oh yeah, this is when now the Fratellis get him.
Yep. Love the shot too. He's about to turn on the light here, and you just see him in the side mirror. That's good. I can't sing Italian. That's what he sounds like. There's a hurrah. Look at Chunk's face. He's like losing it. Of course, there's a continuity error here. When he looks in the rearview mirror, he's singing.
Blu-ray addict. We played Manhunt as a kid in the woods. We did war games in the woods. We would have, you know, your plastic guns, and you break up into teams, and you shot the person, and then if you got shot, you had to go to the designated area to where you were dead until the last person from whatever teams. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun to do, like in the summertime. Not as fun to do in the fall or winter because you couldn't hide very well because everything was dead and gone.
Right. That's right. That's it.
Frank Riker, Tony's family would stare Dave down, family with his Italian singing. Now, keep in mind, half of my family is Italian, but the other half are gypsies. So I got a little mixture of both in there, a little gypsy blood, a little Italian blood.
Well, who's to say I'm Italian? Who's to say I'm not just... It's gibberish.
And actually, my mother's side came through your neck of the woods. The gypsies, they came through Canada down into the U.S. back in the heyday.
Yes, that's right, they did. Got right into New York where I married them all.
I'm so done hearing that man's voice.
I know.
It's over. Forget it.
You know, we were talking about this the other day and just like kind of came to this realization of like, what in the fuck? Like, do you realize we are like, when I say we, I don't mean like everybody, I'm just saying it in general, as people are fighting over Donald fucking Trump.
I know. Whoever would have thought.
I just started to laugh, like thinking about that, like, look at who we're fighting
I know.
over.
Whoever would have thought 10 years ago? What you mean?
You told me this in the 90s that one day we'd be fighting, I'd be like,
I know.
Fuck out of here.
It's crazy stuff.
The fact that we are, it's like, holy shit. This is the world I live in.
Exactly. Like, it's crazy.
Oh, God. You Goonies!
Yep. I love that too. Yeah, he's in the. Oh, well, we just saw it here with the. What's his name? The guy that. Oh, this is great. This is great. Yeah.
Oh, the blender scene with the Fratellis, and
Yeah,
he
yeah.
starts telling them everything.
Yeah. I know. It's gonna be so good. This is great. He's like, what a great little actor this kid was.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like, he was just everything.
His performance was really good.
Everything. I'll talk. I love it.
Bent cat. Yes. It's like when Marty tells Doc Reagan is president in 1985. Yes. That's what it feels like for Donald Trump being president. It feels like that moment. Like you're looking, it's still kind of like, wait, what? For real?
Yeah. Like
for real? This really happened? Like for real? Yeah. It happened.
And then, of course, there's all the drama and mayhem that comes with Donald Trump. You know what I mean? That wasn't necessarily there with Ronald Reagan.
All entertainment.
It's all. Oh yeah, no, it is. But it's all
entertainment.
It's all up in a. It's magnified to the nth degree because of the technology now.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what everybody's doing at any given moment.
That's why That's why I only have Instagram and I only share very little information. I want to keep some of my life private, you know?
Yeah,
I need
for sure.
I need that space and separation where I don't need to share every little detail with you guys, and that I still have some of me left.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a diss or anything. It's just I need that. You know what I mean?
No, I feel the same way. I rarely post about my personal life unless it's something I'm doing that maybe somebody might find of interest. You know, but I'm not. Yeah, I mean,
maybe a job or something that I'm doing that people might go, "Oh, that's cool." Like when I did the industrial light magic thing, you know, a couple months ago.
Yep. I mean, there's 6 weeks could go by and you wouldn't see an Instagram post from me, and then all of a sudden I post something, and it may not even be a photo of what I'm doing.
Yeah,
it might be
seeing
something
you with
else.
the selfies here lately, I'm like, that is totally out of your character.
It is. Yeah, it is.
It's cool.
Yeah. Well, I was with Bruce, and we were, and I thought, I'll do this, minding our social distancing, of course, being very
while wearing
aware
a
of that.
Toronto Maple Leafs hat.
I'm wearing one right now. Yeah, supporting the hometown team tonight. There it is, Chester Copperpot. It's Chester Copperpot. I love the skull and the bug coming out of the eye and everything that we saw here in a second.
Great set design.
Oh, great set design. Great booby traps. I love the boulders that hang at the top, and start coming down and things like that. And it was great. It was just a fun. You don't see movies like this anymore, even for today's youth, like for today's generation. Now, maybe I'm out to lunch, but I don't.
Oh, you mean coming of age stories type?
Yeah, coming of age adventures. You don't see a lot of this kind of stuff, but there were quite a few of them in the 80s.
We had this and Stand By Me.
The Explorers, The Gate, Monster Squad.
Kind of boring a little bit, early 80s, it's not, but it's an adventure. Elliot and E.T. go on an adventure.
Yeah. Mac and Me.
Oh my God, Mac and Me. Flight of the Navigator, Space Camp.
Yes, Space Camp.
God, Space Camp. I fucking love that movie.
Tony going hard into the paint of Space Camp.
If you're a fan and you know Space Camp, that's a deep cut.
That is a deep cut. Breakfast Club. Yeah, that's right. David White says Breakfast Club. That's very true.
Space Camp. He took me a couple times to see Space Camp. I love that flick.
Yeah.
And I mentioned Flight of the Navigator. That was a cool
Explorers.
one.
Nick says Explorers. I thought I said Explorers. Did I not say Explorers?
Explorers,
yeah. Spaceballs.
I wouldn't say as it's comedy. It's legendary, but it's not coming of age type adventure.
No, definitely
ones we
not.
just listed.
Yeah, but you don't get movies like this anymore. I mean, again, it's a different time, and I think kids have matured. And what I mean by that is I just think what they are into is just this type of movie for kids today would seem juvenile.
Well, I can say this. Teenage kids have definitely sexually matured. Jesus, man. Some of the shit that these kids are wearing today. I'm like, I thought we pushed the boundaries, but then again, I'm like, well, we really didn't push the boundaries. We just wore clothes 10 times our size. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Until the grunge thing kicked in, and then we were wearing distress shit. Today, man, I'm seeing 15-year-olds that look like they're 35. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
What the hell?
I know. I love that the boulders. Now those boulders probably are fiberglass or paper mache. I mean, they probably weigh all of like maybe 25 pounds. Maybe not. I mean, they might be heavier than that. But I love the sound design. Like really give you the sense that they're like 900 pounds or 1,000 pounds or something. Oh, maybe it's the Fratellis. Love this. Moving the rock. Hello? And then all the bats fly out in a second. This is so great. Super chat comes in from Kevin Brock. Thank you, buddy. Says, love you guys. Keep it groovy. Thank you, Kevin. Really appreciate it, man. I love this. The bats. It's so great. Those bats are definitely like hanging there on probably a string of some sort.
But you don't really see the string. And even in the digital here, I don't see it.
I don't see it either. I don't see it either. So that's see, I like that.
Chuck.
I know.
Still going on all the shit he's done.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the puke.
They blamed it on the dog.
He gets everybody in the theater to puke.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so good. It's so great. It's so great. Mr. Zom says, love Flight of the Navigator. Yeah, that was great, man. That was great. Colin Murdy says, we love to see you guys doing an ET episode or Mad Max Road Warrior plus War Games. Oh, War Games.
War Games. That would be good. Matthew Broderick. Was that his first film? Close to one of his first.
It's got to be close. It's got to be close.
I love War Games. That's a good movie.
That's a good movie. We should do that one night.
We should.
All the movies you said there. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Coming.
We'll do it eventually. We have our little. We're looking at the dates and trying to figure out the schedule. We'll do it eventually. He takes off his toupee and that's great. Yeah, you don't really see the string on that.
No,
it's good stuff. Love the fog and everything here. I think we're coming up to the wishing well soon, I think.
I love that. Data said, he goes, if we keep going down far enough, we'll reach China. Do you remember that back in the 80s where the thing was if you could dig all the way to China?
Well, geez, I mean, look, I
made a couple attempts that gave up after probably about 5 feet, though.
Yep. I mean, listen, we grew up in a time where even just saying, the word Oriental was fine, right? Because you're from the Orient.
Oh, if I said I mean that's China today, forget it. And
oh my goodness!
I'd get backlash.
Oh my goodness! And even saying Chinaman today is very because there was that movie with Jackie Chan, and they had to change it to the foreigner as opposed to because I believe it was originally called the Chinaman.
Right.
Well, the Chinaman is like saying American or Canadian or whatever it is, right? Chinese, obviously, but that's also a language. But I mean, there was a time when I have to admit there are certain words that are outed today that I think of and I go, well, yeah, that makes sense. Like I totally get that. Totally understand it. Totally get it. And then every now and then I'm surprised. There'll be one where I'm like, oh, that's not oh, really? Wow. Okay. Geez, I gotta be careful, right? Because sometimes, you can say something and you inadvertently say something that's not acceptable anymore, or something like that, and you're like, well, I had no idea, I didn't mean to. Oh yeah, that's not. Yeah, there's a few things that I've heard of over the years. I'm like, oh really? You can't say, geez, that was just, And Oriental was one for me a couple years ago where I was like, yeah, people don't really say that anymore, and I was like, really? But it's okay, all right. Well, I guess I better be careful then, not to, And again, I think context. I'm saying it now because I hope that
context, right?
People understand context. Right. I mean, I think that's important. We can't lose that. But fascinating stuff. I mean, it's certainly But to Tony's point, the digging to China. Yeah, that was a thing.
That was a thing. Phrase. Were you digging to man to China?
Yes. Oh, it was huge.
But today, forget about it.
It was huge. It's a huge thing. Did something happen on your end there, Tony, with your
My
camera or
thing,
something?
my thing started. I was seeing it little by little. I could
Ah,
because I have a level on my camera where I can see if it's level or not. And it started. It was doing the Leaning Tower of Pisa here. It's slowly. I was like,
gotcha.
man, I'm seeing it out of the rear. And then I looked on the stream and I saw like, yeah, it's starting to slant a little bit.
Ah,
So I
okay.
was trying to fix it.
Cool.
Give it to me. My name's Mama.
Look, he's just eating Rocky Road. There's a few chunk lines that I always think of. Hey, you guys, yeah, but I like Baby Ruth, and Rocky Road.
What was your favorite
So funny.
candy? What was your go-to candy growing up?
Oh, Nerds, maybe.
Nerds are cool.
Nerds. Do you remember? I don't know if
I
they had
love
this.
Big League Chew. Big League Chew is a big thing.
Yes,
Like,
you felt like
how
you were
much you could fit in your mouth. You felt like a major leaguer too. You know what I mean?
Yes. Did you guys? I forget the name of it now. The chat room will probably jump on it. I forget the name of it. But did you guys remember the? Did you guys have like? It came with like a white stick, and you would lick it and dip it into the like either the red or purple like sugar or something like that. What was it called? Dipstick or something? Do you remember that, Tony?
Yeah, like the sugary thing.
It had like a white stick, which was
Yes. My
sugar. You
sister
could eat it
really
as well.
liked those.
And
Fun
you
Dip.
Fun Dip. That's it.
Fun
Thank
Dip.
you.
Yeah,
Fun
my
Dip.
sister
Oh,
really liked those.
I love Fun Dip. Fun Dip
Yeah.
was great. I wonder if they, you know what? There's a store in downtown Toronto. I think it's called Fruity Tooty, actually. I think, and if I'm not mistaken, and it's a store that just sells nothing but candy, and it's got the old school shit in there.
Really?
Oh yeah. I don't know if it's
Is
still
it dated
there.
from the old school?
No, I don't think. No, now again, I don't know if it's still there, but it had all the. Oh, I could go in by Fun Dip. Nerds, I love Nerds. Nerds were great. I should fucking get some Nerds.
Loved getting the tops, the new package of tops every week because you got the gum inside of there, the
baseball cards, Upper
Cabbage
Deck.
Patch Kids had the same thing too, and or not
yeah.
Cabbage Patch Kids, Garbage Pail
Yep.
Kids, which
Yep.
was basically the horror version of Cabbage
Yep.
Patch Kids, which are
That's right.
which were really cool for dudes. Okay, like
That's
because
right.
your sister probably had a Cabbage Patch Kid.
Oh yeah.
And our parents literally fought each other. I'm not even fucking
yeah.
kidding you guys. Like,
I know.
Like there's old video footage on YouTube of people literally fighting.
It was like
for
the Tickle
Cabbage
Me
Patch
Elmo
doll.
of the 80s.
Oh yeah.
I
But,
also
Sour Patch Kids, man, that was the shit. Those
that was
cards.
good too.
Yeah.
Somebody said their Sweet Tarts. That was
Garbage
great.
Pail. I mean, that's what I meant. Garbage Pail.
Garbage Pail Kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gummy Bears and
Cigarette
yes.
candies. We promoting cigarettes to the youth.
Do you remember the Popeye cigarettes?
Yes.
Popeye
yes,
cigarettes?
Dude, yes.
And I also remember cigarettes. The packet. Now Popeye, you would never look at the package of a Popeye cigarette and think it was a real thing, right? But there were cigarettes. Do you guys remember? It came in a little package. It looked like a cigarette package that you flip open, and all in there, it was chocolate. It was chocolate, but the chocolate was rolled. It had white paper around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had that for kids too. There were also gum. There was one that was gum where if you kind of did something with your, I don't know, you sucked it in or blew or something on it, little puffs of smoke would come off the end, but it was powder. It was powder. It would go into the, oh my God. Like, can you imagine marketing this to children today? Jesus.
Couldn't do it.
No, you couldn't
do that at all.
I used to buy them all the time.
Oh yeah, we could get them when the ice cream man would come. Bomb Pops, that was one of my go-to ice cream when the ice cream man would come. Would be the Bomb Pops, or the other one that the go-to one was, I can't remember the name of it now, but it was definitely a fluorescent type color looking thing that had like gum pieces that was like shaped like a face or something like that.
Right.
I can't remember the name of it now, but that was the other go-to one when the ice cream man would come around that I would get. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on the name of that ice cream bar.
Depending on where you, I'll let you think on that here. We are an hour and 6 minutes and 40 seconds into the movie. Mikey has just done his, it's our time down here. It was their time up there speech. He's sucking in on his inhaler. I think we just finished watching. I think him and Andy just kissed, right? by accident. I think that's already happened. I love this. Andy, you goonie. I remember when my buddy Bruce tried to get his kids. Now, this is about 10 years ago. Get his kids to watch this movie, and they didn't like it. They were like, what is this? Of course, you got to think about it. To them, it would be like us in the 80s watching a movie from the 50s.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Can't,
it was just,
they can't relate to it.
No,
it's
they
tough
can't.
to.
And
it's like two completely different worlds when you look at kids today's childhood versus our childhood here in the 80s.
That's right.
It's so much different.
There it is. Baby Ruth. Baby Ruth. Ruth. Baby Ruth. He hits it. The way he hits him in the head, and there's that moment where he's like, am I offended by this? Am I hurt by this? Does that sting? And then he's like, ah! That's so great. I love it. I love it. I love when he just hits him in the head with the Baby Ruth. It's so good. It's so good. I love seeing you guys in the chat room talking about your favorite candies from the way 80s. Back then.
Because some of you guys are mentioning things like noun laters. Oh my God, I haven't had a noun laters in so freaking long. Those used to hurt my teeth though sometimes. Like if they some of them would be just, you had to have it just right for it to you enjoy it. Otherwise it literally could fuck your teeth up. Oh, I bet. We're at the scene here where the Fratellis they just found Chester Copperpot, and the mother is going to say, follow them size 5s in a couple of seconds here. Size 5s. That's such a small shoe. There we go. Though my favorite candy to get on Halloween, bar none, it's toss up between the Kit Kat bar and the Reese's peanut butter cup. Those were always my two favorite to get on Halloween. Yep. For me on Halloween, it was Reese's Pieces, or Reese's Pieces, or maybe the Rockets, maybe, but Reese's Pieces for sure. Reese's Pieces for sure. The candy I fucking hated, and a lot of people did, was that toffee candy. Oh, the toffee candy. The one that you in there and you're like, oh, but it was wrapped in orange, and it had like the little cats on it. Yes. Oh my, it is like the quintessential Halloween candy that nobody liked. No, because and why everybody's like, I don't understand. You're just pissing us kids off. Yep. Which good chances we're the kids who came back and egged your house. Yes. Yeah, exactly. That's it. We remembered. We're like, we're getting your ass later. Sloth is just kiss Chunk here. And that's what we did. And we didn't even egg the house. What we did, we egged the driveways back in the day. Right. We never egged the house. We egged the driveways. We TP'd, some of the trees, trees and stuff like that. But we actually never, I don't recall that. I remember I would throw like Hail Mary bombs to people's driveways, with the eggs and stuff. That's great. You know what? Oh no, okay, yeah. Again, like I love that this is full of, and again, what's great about this kind of adventure is that you're put in the same position as the characters, right? So it's like you're one of the Goonies watching this movie. And if you were a fan of the Goonies growing up, you certainly can still tap into that, the child that's in us all. For sure. And Darren, I mean, although Darren sort of missed the boat on this, and he didn't see it till he was in his 20s in the 90s, and he's kind of like, oh, this movie gives me a headache, which I can totally get. Like, I can look at this movie and be like, yeah, I can see why it's kind of like, oh, but and I don't want to speak for Darren, but certainly Darren is a smart enough guy that he probably can. He's like, I understand the appeal, especially if you're a little kid. You know what I mean? Like you're 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, or, you can certainly see the appeal, and why it was such a popular film. But yeah, seeing it for the first time later in life would all depend on a number of things, whether or not it would resonate. It's very Temple of Doom. Did you guys have... Calm down. By the way, the night before Halloween, we had what was called Cabbage Night. The night before Halloween in Connecticut, where you would egg houses or egg driveways or toilet paper stuff, or throw whatever, and just, it would be mischief stuff. We would never cross the line into spray painting or anything like that. It would just be kids acting like kids. But Cabbage Night was real big in like the late 80s and early 90s. And then by like mid to late 90s, it just kind of died out and was no more of a thing.
I would say I think everybody had some version of that, but I don't recall something specific. Tab of the Short says that mouth toy would not hold data. Come on. No, that's true. That's very true. That's
Hollywood
very true.
Magic, man. Hollywood
Got to suspend your disbelief there, Tabitha. That's very true. That's very true.
And we did have an egg fight one year. That was fun.
That was great.
When I was 12. When I was 12 years old, we had a massive egg war the night before Halloween. That was a fun night.
That's great.
I came home. My mom was like, "What the hell?" Like,
yeah.
I got doused with it, man, because I was in the middle of that stuff, just like flinging it and didn't care. You know what I mean? Getting decked by my friends.
We didn't pass the. I thought we had passed the moment where they kiss accidentally, but we didn't. It's coming up here. Okay. Yeah, I love this. Yeah, we're going to the men's room. This is the men's room. I like that because it's such a kid thing. You want to be, you want to feel like you're older. You want to fit in, right? You know what I mean? So, I like that. It was just very smart writing, very genuine. Something that if you're little, you want to go hang out with your big brother. I'm in the men's room. There's no men's room. There's no little boys' room. It's just two different caves. It is whatever you make it. You know what I mean? But I love that. I love that.
Tyler Dalis, I'm getting that vibe that Tony was a really bad kid. Why? Because we had egg wars. If I wasn't, everybody was a bad kid in our neighborhood. Because, dude, the egg wars, I'm telling you, like, that was a big turnout. And I remember one year we did it specifically, the year I was 12, we did it the night before Halloween. We didn't do Cabbage Night that year, which is what we called Cabbage Night. And we met up at this park, and we just had, dude, let me tell you, first of all, getting pegged by an egg fucking hurts.
Oh, okay? Yeah, it does. It
fucking hurts. But that's just how we were. There was like, and we did it to each other. We didn't vandalize stuff. We didn't do it to people's houses. We just beat each other up.
Yeah. For sure. I love this. She thinks she's kissing. Yeah. Like you wouldn't know even with your eyes closed. But, come on.
It's suspend your disbelief.
Yeah, exactly. Super chat comes in here from Nick. Thanks, buddy. Says D&T this Friday at my drive-in. It's playing one for the both of you guys. The Burbs for Dave and the Big Lebowski for Tony. I'm only assuming Tony. I love the Burbs. The Big Lebowski I haven't seen in a long time, but that's really cool. Are you going to go check it out? I love this. Why are you laughing? It was beautiful. Does Brad have braces?
Yeah, you would know if dude had braces or not.
Yeah, it's true. Darren says, I get the appeal. I think if I'd seen it at 12, I would have been in love with it, just like I am with E.T., Indy, Star Wars, Superman, etc. I was late to the party when I saw it. I was into horror. Yeah, exactly. I totally get it. There's been films like that too, There's a lot of movies that, you try to show people as you get older and, you want them to have that same sense of, but it's like, I get it. I just, I wasn't there, Yeah. Oh, totally. That's understandable. I love this. She's like, come on, let's go. And he's like, what are you crazy? They're right there. Imagine he's like, what are you crazy, bitch? They're right there, you son of a fucking bitch. He says that. You're like, holy shit, calm down. Like, oh my God, F-bombs are dropping like crazy.
Dude, you know what's
great
things?
Is the music video is great to this
I know.
too.
The Goonies. Yeah.
Oh, the Goonies are good enough.
Cyndi Lauper. Epic long.
It is like a short film.
It's got classic WWF wrestlers in there.
Yes.
Piper's in that.
Piper,
Andre makes
the Iron
cameo.
Sheik.
Iron Sheik. Lou Albano.
Yep. It's great stuff.
But what I was saying is one of the things that me and my friends used to do, there was this one, you had an option when we would come from the ball field, okay?
Yep.
You could either go the long way, which would take you up the road, and you stay on the road. You go past the little convenience store, Derry Mart, and then turn and go the long way. or you would cut through the woods. Okay.
Yes.
But at night, it would be fucking creepy.
Yeah.
But what we would do to each other just to antagonize each other is pretend that somebody was chasing us like Michael Myers or Jason.
That's great.
And just fucking haul ass through the woods and the trail that night.
Great.
And you literally gave yourself that adrenaline rush that
you
somebody was fucking behind you.
Yeah,
even though nobody's behind you.
I get it. You psyched yourself out to think that there really was.
To do it, to do the shortcut.
Totally, 100%. 100%. Especially if it was scary. Especially if it was really scary in there.
Yeah. And there's no lights or anything. Just enough light for you to see the trail because there was maybe one light off in the distance that was just giving you this faint light to see just enough to get you through it.
Exactly. I love this too with the log and the water and shit. And he's got slick shoes. They're like slick shoes. Data, of course, these little slick shoes. And I like that. He goes like this. And what a fucking idiot. Shoots the... That's so great. I miss practical sets like this. Oh my God, do I ever miss it? The production design on films like this was just so much character, so much charm. And again, it's not that they don't build sets anymore. They do. There's a lot of set building that goes on still. But there's just like this is all us. This is so great. No. Oh yeah, they're coming up to the piano in it, I think, in a second.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Gotta pay you gotta play the bones to get out of here. And again, the score through this entire movie is just full of that childlike magic. There's a tinkling to the score, and it's just so great. And this scene here is no exception. I mean, it's well, see, the slick shoes work. The slick shoes worked. Right. And now you got the water coming over and of course this buys them time to play the bones. For a minute there, Andy standing beside Corey Feldman, she almost looks like Emma Watson a little bit there.
I can see that. Just
a little bit. She's got a bit of an Emma Watson vibe from Harry Potter. I can totally see that.
She definitely has the look of the 80s typical girl back then.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for
Very
sure.
much
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Camden Knott, I'm going to address it at the end of the movie, okay? Because I do have something I want to say. So if you're around, stick around, and I'll address it at the end of the movie.
I don't know. Anytime I see Josh Brolin, all I can think of is that purple face Thanos. I can't help it.
Snapping the fingers. He's been in a lot of good movies as of late.
Yes, he's had a great career.
Yeah.
I love him in Old Country for.
Oh yes.
Yeah, drawing
No Country for Old Men.
Old Men. Thank you.
Yeah,
yes.
It was great. Yeah,
That's
the Coen brothers.
Fucking movie.
It's great. Look at this. I mean,
that's
this whole scene.
Rodriguez, right?
No, that's the Coen brothers. I think.
Oh, is it the Coen brothers?
Yeah, I believe so.
What am I thinking of that Rodriguez did? He did From Dusk Till Dawn, right?
He
With Quentin
did,
and,
yes.
And
I
George
think
Clooney.
he did.
That's what I'm thinking of.
That's right. This is again the set design and playing the bones, and then the thing breaks away and they're all sitting there, and the suspense, the Fratellis are coming up, and of course they slip and they fall down a little bit, and just great stuff.
Good suspense.
Good suspense. You got to play it, Andy. Come on. No! I think that's the second time that Josh Brolin has been like, oh! It's like, you're going to kill your boyfriend. That's right. We all believe in you. We believe in you. We believe in you.
Gary Rangel. The water slide looks so much fun. Wouldn't you all like? Oh, absolutely.
Dude, the water slide is like my favorite fucking part of it.
Water slide ever. I would totally love to do that. Even to this day, I would.
I wish that I don't think it's on the DVD or the Blu-ray. I have the Blu-ray. and I've seen a lot of the behind the scenes stuff of this movie and a lot of the making of.
Yeah.
And I know they acknowledge the water slide and they kind of talk about how they shot it from different, like, you know, they went down a couple times shooting, but I don't know if there's ever anywhere where they talk about how they made it. I'm not 100% sure. I love this blue screen. Like, it's just so great. They're
the
dangling up there. Yeah, it's just great stuff. You just can't make another mistake. Come on, little Emma Watson / Alyssa Milano / every 80s girl. Tiffany, yeah, that's right. Children behave. Love it.
And from my understanding, what's about to happen here in the sequence of the water slide, from what I heard, is when the kids are in the water, that Donner purposely had the kids walk in backwards to see the ship and get the genuine reaction of the kids.
That's what I said earlier. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
I mentioned that.
And that's really fucking great. That's
really
creative
cool.
directing to get a genuine reaction for these kids seeing that ship for the first time.
100%. Look at this. If you are not a kid, everybody watching in the chat room, would you not? I mean, this is like, what? Listen, the entire movie up to this point was amazing for us kids. But when it got to this part of the movie, we were all like, what? No way. Like, this is amazing. Look at this. This is like
and they're doing this with no GoPros.
Children adventure. No, that's right. Peak 80s adventure right here. This is so great. Look at this. Like, it feels like you're going forever and turns and twists and shit. Yeah. This is amazing. I'm getting like a schoolgirl just watching this. Like, this is amazing.
And they all come out.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Now, this reaction that you see from the kids when they turn around and they see the pirate ship is a genuine. They had not laid eyes on the pirate ship yet. That was a directional choice by Richard Donner. So this is a and that is a
that's
real
all, like, that's not even
all practical.
Just seeing it for the first time, like, holy shit.
And that's practical right there. That ship is really there. Now the water beside it looks like it on the fall looks like it might have been added, but
could be just a hose.
Yeah.
It's flushing out a lot of water.
But it's great stuff, man. Great stuff. Frank says it would be better if there was blood in the water.
Do we go back to them, or is it just Sloth and Chunk show up on the ship?
No, the Fratellis do. No, they make their way onto the ship because.
But Sloth and Chunk are not with the Fratellis at this point.
No, they're not. Are
they like trying to play catch up?
They're trying to play catch up. Yeah. Or catch up. Cats up. Coots up. Coots up. Coots up. Who says coots up? The next time you guys are at a restaurant, you order a burger, just say, "Do you have any coots up?" They're like, "What?"
Tony said it coots up.
Coots up. You mean ketchup? Yeah. No, it's coots up. It's like this orangey. No, you say
T-shirts.
You say it's this orangey brown sauce. What is that? Oh, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Good night, everybody. I'll be here all week. I love this. Yeah, the set design is just great. Like, you believe this is a pirate ship, an old pirate ship that's been lost in this cave for, centuries. Data's okay. I love how he talks to himself in the third person all the time. I know, right? It's great.
Data's okay.
Great.
Data's fine.
I'm gonna start talking to myself in the third person
Dave is
from
okay.
now on.
Dave is fine.
Hey, so Dave, when Dave watched this in 1985, this is great. He looks really pissed. Look at the way he's talking. Well, how he's stumbling over his words here. And it's great. Yeah, this is so great. Frank Riker says, we need a Goonies ride called the One-Eyed Willie Deep Cavern Dive. I'm telling you right now,
Disney should, or somebody should have a. That's a ride. That is a ride. You think about it. Water park, a Goonies water slide.
Think of
with
this.
Imagine
this. Yes, imagine this. It's a ride you're on, going through the like you're on a ride on a boat, going through the caverns and shit like that. You know, like a typical Disney ride. But you're expected to have like it's a ride where you're going to get wet, and all of a sudden, part of the ride, like people know this. Part of the ride is like it's a water slide. Like you at the end, so maybe you're all in like, you know, your swim trunks and your bathing suits while you're on the actual ride part, because you know when you get to the end of the ride,
I'm on it. Yep.
You know, when you get to the end of the ride, you get off and you go, hurry, come on. And you get on this water slide that's like the fuck, and you go, oh my God.
Dude, not only that,
and
but
you fall into a big pool where there's, fuck.
Yeah, they build a real ship, right? And maybe with the real ship, they have like little swing ropes that you can swing out off of the ship and jump out in the air and do some fucking crazy ass shit.
Right. Yeah.
Do it. Disney, get on that shit.
Fuck, done.
You got everything else. You might as well get the Goonies ride.
Because the ride would be so epic it wouldn't matter if you like or have seen the Goonies at all, because the ride itself would be just so tremendous. Tremendous.
Yep. Like imagine like this, like you're able to walk on a pirate ship like this, or all set like this. Oh, that would be awesome.
Dude, it'd be amazing.
Oh, is this when Mikey has his one-on-one with One-Eyed Willie?
One-Eyed Willie, yeah. Dun. Love that. It's like, there he is. The one you've been searching for. The one that Chester Copperpot could not find. Well, Chester Copperpot couldn't even get to the ship. Love this music. Listen to this score right now. Listen to the magic.
Simple.
But it's
like
again,
a connection between him and Willie.
Yes, but again, it's got that magic, that tinkling magic wonder and adventure in it. Listen to it. So great. Ooh, he's got no eye. You better suck back some of that inhaler, bitch. I love how he's having this personal one-on-one moment with One-Eyed Willie, and then of course his the rest of the Goonies come over and light the candles, and you begin to see the glow from the candle. There it is. There's the glow. There's the glow. Of course, that would have been an actual light. They had probably a light on a dimmer that they turned up. Oh yeah,
they turned it kind of flickering a little bit.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah,
they pulled a little Dean Cunde and Tommy Lee Wallace getting the dimmer of the light going.
That's right. Because this tungsten balanced light here is not from the candles. The candle wouldn't the light from the candles.
I mean, you're gonna get some light, but not.
You get some light, but
you might get like that, like that's on Josh Brolin, where he's kind of half lit in kind of that Rembrandt light type lighting. Rembrandt is a style of lighting. Yeah. You could get that off of a candle, but what you're referring to with the rest of the cast, forget it. That's set light.
You need to expose the space. Can you imagine having this kind of jewelry? Oh my God! Like just knowing that, my God, I've got like potentially millions of dollars.
Find a little countryside villa in Italy, and no one would ever hear from me again. Just live out my days chilling peacefully.
That's it, man.
I still may do that anyways. Just be broke.
That's right. That's right. That's right. The Fratellis are still after you guys. What are you doing? Sons of bitches.
We're rich.
The Hardy Boys. See, I mean, that reference wouldn't.
Oh, the Hardy Boys today, you couldn't. Well, not necessarily true. There might be some people out there who know the reference. Though. But kids, not too many kids. I don't think too many kids today are reading Hardy Boys. Although, then again, I could be wrong.
I still have some old school Hardy Boys books.
I think I got one or two lingering somewhere. Cool.
That's really
in a box.
That's cool.
so like a girl thing to do. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, I love that.
That's right.
I love how they did that. I like the intention of the threat of the moment, but yet the girls are distracted by the jewelry they're wearing.
Right. I love this. Yeah, he's got this. So you mean to tell me that Data has been on this entire adventure with this gigantic boxing glove inside of his jacket the entire time? Right. It's funny. You know what I mean? Like he's got all these contraptions, everywhere, and he's been able to put them in places that just fit. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, this set is amazing. Not just the pirate ship, but everything. The water out there, the waterfall that's falling. It's everything. It's just it's a terrific set. I love when she.
I think even Cindy uses this in her video, Goonies, a little bit.
Yes,
from what I remember.
Yes, I believe they do. Yes, yeah, Cyndi Lauper. Yeah, she's 66 years old now.
And she looks great. And she's still out there doing her thing, man.
Yeah.
She's still doing it.
Yeah, she looks great. I think she has an Italian, New York Italian, I think. I think she's Italian. If I'm not mistaken. But I could be. Yeah, you gross old witch. You want to play pirate, do you? March. Anne Ramsey was so great. She knew she was cast in these types of roles, and
absolutely,
because of her look. But she was great at it.
You know what though? I always confused her for the longest time with the woman who played Large Marge in Pee-wee's Adventure. You can see why though, because they have a similar voice, even though they're not.
Yes.
They're not. But when I was younger, I always used to confuse them and think they were the same person.
Right. Gotcha. Ah, the boyfriend came to the rescue.
Tell him Large Marge sent ya.
That's right. And the great thing about this too is that it's still there it is. Hey you guys.
Hey you guys.
Okay, that's clearly not Chunk on the back of that guy.
No.
It's got to be it almost looks like a doll. Like a
doll just that the actor had around him.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it was. Something like that.
Now, wasn't the woman here though? Wasn't she? No, I'm confusing her with someone else too. Damn, I know I've seen this woman in something else, and I just drawn a blank on what.
Anne Ramsey?
Yeah.
She was in Throw Mama from the Train. She was Mama. She was in. I know her from an episode of Elf, the '80s sitcom. She was in an episode of Elf. She's been in other things, but I can't. Off the top of my head, I can't think. Chat room might know, though. What size this guy? This guy was so big. He was like, what was he, like 6'8", like 280 pounds or something ridiculous like that? He's a big dude. But a simple guy, which is how they're able to sort of... But he wasn't stupid. I mean, he wasn't stupid, though. He wasn't, he wasn't the smartest guy, but he knew what was going on. He was angry. He knew that his family didn't love him.
That's right. She's in Scrooged. That's right.
She's
with
in
Bill
Scrooged?
Murray. Yes.
And Deadly Friend. I've seen Scrooge. I don't remember her in Scrooge.
Superman.
Scrooged, I mean. She was in Superman? She wasn't in Superman.
She was the homeless one with the they were trying to get Bill Murray to get him to give her a kiss. Right? When they get to show up to the shelter. I think that's the character she plays, if I remember correctly.
Look at that shot of the aerial shot of that set.
Oh, I know.
Gorgeous. I love that the water is blue.
Like, listen, I need an aerial. We built this shit. Yeah. I need an aerial shot.
Yeah, I need to milk this. I love this too. It's like, what happened to your braces? I don't have braces. Mikey, that son of a... And then just start kissing again.
Because that's what we did in the 80s. We had nothing better to do, so we made out with girls.
There you go. There it is,
bad
folks.
Kids.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we didn't have anything to do. Fuck.
No, I mean, it was,
it's different today. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, after seeing this movie, we all wanted to go on this kind of an adventure.
For sure.
You know?
And we created our adventures doing stupid shit like
That's
this.
it.
You know what I mean?
That's it. Yep. Yeah, it was in our imagination, but...
Exactly.
Like, Stranger Things... The Goonies, The Explorers, Monster Squad,
Oh my God,
you name
Monster
it.
Squad, you
name it.
Squad, jeez.
You name it. They're all examples of our imaginations come to life. Like, no, we didn't literally do these things, but we played out these
in our mind, in our
minds.
Pretend world that we created in our neighborhoods.
Right, through bike riding around, getting into all sorts of shenanigans. I mean, not necessarily in a pirate adventure, but it's the pirate adventure is standing in. It's the adventure side of this story, the shenanigans and the let's not tell mom and all that stuff. It's encapsulating sort of that it's a fictional telling of what our childhood was. Right, exactly.
This played out in what we hoped it would look like, but
right,
did not come out that way.
Exactly.
If you were watching us as adults, you'd probably look like, what are they?
The fuck
doing?
Are they doing over there? Exactly. Now that I believe was a man that was tossed into the water. It wasn't Anne Ramsey.
No, Anne Ramsey wasn't doing that stunt.
No, but it was great. And I don't even think that was, what's his face? It might have been, but I don't think so. But I love this. I love how they're all in the water there and they got the upper side, the upper side of it all. And there's Anne Ramsey climbing up again. She's back, baby. That's probably not her either. But, hey guys. Aw, I'm glad Chunk was able to,
reunite with his buddies.
Yes, and they took Sloth in. Remember?
Yep, that's right.
You're gonna live with me now. Okay. Because I love you. Oh, I love you too, Chunk. That's what he says. It's so great. That's coming up in about 5 minutes or so. So far, she died in 88. That's right, she did. She died. She died shortly after Throw Mama from the Train, I believe. And Sloth there died. What year did Sloth die? The actor that played Sloth wasn't that like
89, 90, somewhere around that?
yeah, I was gonna say I said 91 earlier. I'm thinking it's early 90s, but I could be wrong on that. Look at this. How she's thanking Willie. Willie would not want this. Willie would want it to go to the children. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know though. I mean, he was a pirate. He was a. I mean, maybe
Willie and Mikey had a connection.
It's true. It's true. There was a connection there. That's true. 89. Oh, he died in 89. Okay, there you go. So the year after Anne Ramsey. Yeah, 89 then. All right. Is Tabitha still in the chat room? One of my great mods. Tabitha, if you are, you're watching this for the first time, how are you liking it? Of course, keeping in mind that this is a kid's adventure, but hopefully you're enjoying it and maybe you can see why it was such a big deal for a lot of kids back in the 80s. It's pretty, and the pace of this movie too is pretty on point. Like it doesn't let up.
It doesn't let up. It's not dragging.
It doesn't let up.
We're just hitting the 9 o'clock hour and we got about maybe 10 minutes, not even left in this movie.
Yeah. There's a good pace to it. And the music, is this Williams? Is this John Williams? I don't think it is. I don't think it's John Williams.
I don't think it is either. Chat room will let us know who the composer was.
Who's the composer on the Goonies, chat? Let us know. I don't think it's Williams. I don't think it is. But it's great.
Sounds like Williams, though. I mean,
oh yeah.
If you were to confuse it with him, I would totally get it because it does have that Williams-esque sound.
For sure.
Oh, I can't wait till we do Jaws. I'm getting amped.
Oh, it is Williams. It is Williams. Oh, I didn't know that. So it is John Williams. It makes sense.
Yeah,
oh yeah, for sure. I don't know why I hesitated. I don't know why I didn't think that. Why didn't I? That's so strange. I usually get Williams down pat. For some reason, I hesitated. I wasn't confident. Like in my mind, I'm like, it's gotta be Williams, but I'm like, I don't think I wasn't confident enough. No, wait a minute. No, it's not. It's Dave Gruslin. Okay, so I was right. Brett Kent says it is Williams, and these guys are saying it's not John Williams. Okay, great. Okay, perfect. So I was right. Yeah, because there was a side of me that was like, I don't think it is.
But you could.
I thought it was
because of the Spielberg connection. Why it has that Williams-like sound.
Right. Exactly. Oh, it's a great score. Very. Look at this. The wall.
In the words of the '80s, it was fucking rad.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. No, it's a great score. Yeah, because part of it was like kind of sounds like John Williams.
Quadding. We still do that to this day. I love quadding.
Oh yeah, especially if you live out in the country.
So much fun quadding out in the countries, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they do it up here too. I love that shot of them all in the distance with the rocks in the background. And
yeah. Like I said, the West Coast coastline is one of the most prettiest coastlines, especially you get up into the
gorgeous.
Oregon, Washington area, and even in the like Vancouver, isn't that on the coast?
Oh yeah.
So you get into that region, it's gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Stunning. Yeah. And when you get to Vancouver, of course, you got the mountains there too. You got the Rockies. I mean, it's just crazy. Alberta too. Alberta's not on the coast, obviously, but it's beautiful there too. Yeah, this is a beautiful look at those waves coming in. Oh my God. Just awesome stuff. I love seeing the waves. Super chat comes in from the Sting. Thanks, buddy. Says Chunk's parents were like, no, he's not fucking coming living with us. Really? I don't think that's. I think you're just saying that like, yeah, that might be the case, right? Yeah, it's true. I'll tell you what. If I overheard my kid going, "You're gonna come live with me now," I'd be like, son, I think we need to talk about this. He's gonna be quite the handful. So I think that might be. I don't know about that, but I get the sentiment that they're trying to say. He's going to go live with a good family now. So I wonder if that is Japanese, maybe? I don't know. I got to admit, I can't speak a word of Japanese or Chinese, but I love the look of the language. Symbols, and each symbol could represent like 2 or 3 English words. You know what I mean? Like, I love...
It's funny you say that because I say that about German, but for the total opposite. I think German, when they get mad, they sound the fucking coolest. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Like, I only want to learn German for that reason alone, so I can go off like the way Germans do, because I think it sounds so fucking badass.
Yeah, it'd be funny. What is that supposed to mean? Parts of you that don't work so good. What you're talking about is penis or something? That's really fucking inappropriate. That's fucking inappropriate
for a 12-year-old.
That's inappropriate. The fuck, bitch.
Oh man.
Obviously, that's not what she's talking about.
No, I know.
I'm just making a joke, folks. Just making a joke.
And the braces.
Exactly.
And, things that he's growing into as coming into as a teenager. People are totally going to take what you just said seriously.
I know that, people are going to be like,
that's Dave the shitty part of today, man. It's like
Dave thinks that Andy was talking about his penis. Like, no, I don't. Don't shoot him. Don't arrest him.
Domino's. There's the plug for Domino's Pizza.
Oh yeah, great product placement right there. Look.
Yeah, gotta get the Domino's in the shot. Come on, I can't see it.
Yeah.
Just like when they were holding the Pepsis earlier.
That's right. Vietnamese. Brent Kent said he's Vietnamese. Okay. Very cool. Okay. All right. Very cool. It's cool nonetheless. I mean, a lot of those Southeast Asian languages are very cool.
I will say this: Domino's Pizza and even Pizza Hut back in the day was pretty decent. I had Domino's here when everything went into lockdown mode for no freaking reason, apparently. And it was like, oh, so nasty. It was because I'm so used to now eating the mom and pop homemade style like pizza.
Right.
That was the first time I had Domino's in like, dude, I'm not even kidding you, like close to maybe 2 decades. And I was just like, oh, this stuff. Wow. But as kids, we fucking lived on Domino's. We lived on Pizza Hut. We lived on Little Caesars.
Yep. Yep. Pizza. Pizza. Yeah, well. Clark. It's Clark, right? Oh, it's Walsh. Clark. Why did I think Clark? I guess I'm thinking of like Chevy Chase and Vacation. Walsh, you're looking at the richest people in the story. Now sign it. I love that. Look how long it takes him to sign it. You know what I mean?
I know.
He's got to fix his glasses, the wind, and he fixes his glasses about 8 times. I would have maybe had him something else. Because like he fixes his glasses like 8 times before he's going to write something. And even as a boy, I remember thinking, okay, it wouldn't take you that long to sign it. Maybe have one of the notes fly away or something and they got to go get it. You know what I mean? Because they're by the, but anyway, Not a big deal. Not a big deal. No sign. No sign. And I love when they pour like all the jewels into the mom's hand here. It was really cool. It doesn't seem like a lot, but what she's pouring into the hand could be worth like millions. I mean, look at that. Eh? Obviously, those are fake, but I mean, jewels like that do exist.
Would be worth
in the world.
millions.
Millions.
Yes. If that was legit, that's millions.
Yeah.
You could buy a whole freaking city with that shit probably if it was legit.
Yeah. I love this too when he throws the paper up in the air. Clearly, there's somebody behind him throwing more paper.
Oh, yeah.
Well, here you go. What? There.
Because, Spielberg was like, not enough paper. I need more paper.
That's right. Not enough paper. I need more paper tossed in there. It's so great.
Donner's looking at him like, come on, man. This isn't Jaws.
See, again, this is so great, too. The pirate ship out on the water and stuff. It's such a great...
Or maybe it wasn't Spielberg. Maybe it was Lucas. Lucas came on and said, nope, you need more paper.
Lucas, maybe, yeah. Lucas, what are you doing here? You don't have anything to do with this movie. That's a cool shot.
Oh, yeah, the ship.
Yeah. And then the music, of course, the magic that's in the music.
Put out there in the Pacific at the end here? Was that legit or is that a miniature?
I don't know. I don't know. The chat room may know. It may be on one of the behind the scenes featurettes on the Blu-ray. I think I do know this, but I forget, to be totally honest. If it is,
because what they're looking at is real. That's not a stage. They're at the ocean.
No, that's right. That's right. If it's not real and it's not actually out there, it's masked very well.
Very well for the time.
It blends in very
well.
Here's the final shot. Now that looks like it could be masked against the sunset there.
That part, yes. That looks like it could be a mask for sure.
Yeah. But that looks great.
But the lead into it,
Yes, yeah. The lead in, like the lighting looks fantastic.
It's good enough for me.
The Goonies, ladies and gentlemen. Happy 35th anniversary to my favorite kids movie from the 1980s, 1985's The Goonies. That's just awesome stuff, folks. Amazing
those of you
stuff.
Who tuned in tonight and joined us for this.
Yeah, we really do appreciate you guys tuning in. And
we know it's not the horror stuff, but occasionally we do like to get away and take a break from the horror. But don't worry, we're coming back. We're coming back strong. We got some good ones here over the next few weeks.
Exactly. Now, before we head over to the chat and answer your questions, I do want to address something that happened earlier in the chat. I just want to take a moment and just address this and where I stand on this. Earlier in the chat, somebody came in with the channel name of Confederate White. And the avatar, of course, was the Confederate flag. Now, I do understand why this would be of concern to some people. I get it. I do understand it. Now, the gentleman has changed his name to David White. According to David White, his last name is White. Now, I don't know if that's true. I have no idea. I don't know if David was wanting to come into the chat to cause a ruckus and problems. I don't know. David, I'm not saying that to say that you do. I'm saying, obviously, I don't know. I don't know you. You haven't said anything that was racist. You haven't said anything that was problematic. You've been quite appropriate in the chat. You've been contributing to the chat. You did change your name after, some people said, hey, maybe you should change your name, under the circumstance. You did. I am okay with your avatar, and the reason why I'm okay with it is not because I don't acknowledge that it could be problematic for some. I do understand that. But it is not illegal. The Dukes of Hazzard exists until if the Confederate flag was deemed illegal and they were removing the Dukes of Hazzard off the shelves and it was going to be, then, I would think to myself, well, maybe it's best that you change your avatar. Just under the circumstances, maybe it's best that you change it to something else. But the reason why I'm okay with it is because I have no evidence that you have come in here with the purpose of to cause a problem. If you were causing issues, we would just ban you and block you. But you haven't done that. You have an avatar there that could be problematic to some. It may not be to others. But until, you know, I mean, look, I mean, I get it. I want people to understand that I do get that just seeing that could be problematic for some. But unfortunately, you know, I'm not at this point willing to, I mean, I can make the recommendation and say, hey, David, maybe you should change it to something else, you know, just so it's not a, you know, because of everything going on, right, especially right now, right, of what's going on, maybe think about changing it to something else, changing it to something movie related, maybe change it to a picture of Boss Hogg, right? You know, from the Dukes of Hazzard, or change it to a picture of, you know, the General Lee from The Side, you know, or something like that, just for the interim while things are a little hot. But, you know, David hasn't presented himself in a racist way. I don't get the sense that he is trying to cause a problem. So that is why.
Seems like only like one person had an issue with it. That even Frank is saying.
If Intel Wild is watching, Intel, you're a great supporter of the channel. We'd hate to lose you here. Yeah. You know, we love your enthusiasm. I couldn't care less at the end of the day whether you support us through super chats or not. It's all about you being here and being part of the community. And although we appreciate the super chats, and I would never say, you know, don't send them, that's not why we appreciate you. We appreciate you because you're a great contributor beyond that. If anybody, you know, everybody is welcome here. If anybody starts to, you know, exhibit, you know, any sort of racist, you know, misogynistic, overt, outwardly behavior, obviously that's not acceptable here, and it's not appropriate, and it would be blocked and banned. Yeah. But David hasn't exhibited that at all. And he apologized for the misunderstanding, which he did. And he's even said, here, I can see that I did change my avatar, but it's not loading right now.
And that can happen.
Yes,
that's true.
I believe
that's
him.
not a lie. That is very true.
Yeah. I do believe him that he has changed it, because I know that when I've changed mine in the past, of course, mine has been mine now for, I don't know, 2 years now. But when I changed mine from whatever it was before, which I forget, to what it is now, it took like an hour or so to show up. Right. So so I believe that he's likely done that. I don't know, David. But I think David is seeing here. He's like, yeah, it was probably bad timing, probably not the best thing to do. I think banning, look, if David had been like, hey, what's going on, you N-words? Hey, what's up, you N people? Okay, you know what?
KKK.
Yeah,
dumb
KKK,
shit like that, you know?
You're gone.
You're done. You're totally done, dude.
You're done. Yeah. But when somebody comes in with a flag like that, and it's like, oh shit, no, I'm not trying to. I think it's really important in this day and age when things are like, oh, wait a minute, okay, we may have something here, right? We may have something. I think it's important to do our best to exchange that dialogue. And to say, hey, buddy, I was a fan of the Dukes of Hazzard too, man. I was, but maybe just for right now, under the circumstances, maybe it's best we try to, rework this a bit, just so we can all kind of take, a breath, and so on and so forth. Because everybody, I don't care if you're black, white, orange, green. I don't care if you're trans. I don't care if you're gay or straight. I don't care. You're welcome here. We want you here. But every now and then something does happen where you kind of like, okay, hang on a sec, we got to address this. And David seems to be like, yeah, you know what? It was it was bad timing. I probably shouldn't have done it. You're right. And, I didn't mean it, but by all accounts, David has been cool the whole chat. He's been contributing and saying, I love this movie and this, that, and the other and all that kind of jazz. So, David, you're welcome here. We appreciate you changing the name and the avatar to something else just for the time being. We appreciate that. And if you are a cool dude, if you're not, a racist person, which obviously I haven't seen any evidence of it, you're welcome here, dude. Yeah. You are, you know what I mean? Now, so we appreciate, you doing that. Yeah. So Tony.
the thing of it is, like Frank's saying here, it wasn't a Nazi flag, and I get the comparison, but at the same time, you have to understand the way Jewish people would see the Nazi flag, and probably like most of the world would see it, if that was a symbol going around right now.
Right.
A lot of African Americans view that flag the same way, and they have a right to, when you understand the 100%. History of where that flag comes from, even though the flag, the symbol doesn't necessarily mean racism. It was their symbol. It was their brand for that time. And so, even myself, because the way I used to think about the flag 6 months ago, my views have changed significantly because I've been enlightened. I've done a lot of research. I've done my, because I know I made a comment probably about a half a year or so ago. And that night, some people were saying some things, and I began to go, you know what? Maybe I need to look at this from a different point of view. And I did. It's like, you look at Germany. Germany doesn't have statues of Hitler or anybody from the Nazi party going, well, this was the part of our history. Right. We need to have. No, they ain't putting that shit. Could you imagine if Germany did that shit? No. That's like us here having Civil War guys like Lee and shit and statues who were a part of the Confederate, who were for keeping slavery going and whatnot. And it's like, do we really need to be having these types of statues up? Because,
and
because Germany don't do this shit. Why the fuck are we doing this shit?
Yeah, Tony is bang on, and it's unfortunate in a lot of ways because the Nazi symbol, the swastika, is ancient. And it actually,
as far as symbols go, it's a
it's a very spiritual, actually a very positive symbol. Was at one time, and there were different versions of them, and it's so unfortunate, really, that Nazi Germany hijacked this. Well, Hitler took the symbol for the same reasons, though. Like, I mean, he took it because it was he was using it for his own his own reasons, right? I mean, bad guys rarely see them as in themselves as bad, right? And so I mean he knew what he shouldn't have been doing, obviously what he was doing, but it's unfortunate that has happened, but it is understandable, considering the climate and the world we live in. Right. I think it's important to just kind of, maybe it's the best thing. And when I said earlier that I was a fan of the Dukes of Hazzard, I saw somebody in the chat, and I forget who it was, but somebody said that I guess it's okay because it was part of the Dukes of Hazzard. What I meant by that is that David could very well have been meaning well because he's a fan of the show, and not like I didn't, he wasn't thinking, he just was, he just, hey, that's a cool show, I like this. That's what I meant, that I understood that point of view, that sometimes you can do things without thinking, and and kind of like, oh shit, you know what, I probably shouldn't have done that. So anyway, just want to say that that I understand it. David, you've changed it. That's great. Hopefully we'll see your avatar changed, if not in this show, maybe in the next show. And if you continue to be cool, I think, you're always welcome here.
And guys, seriously, when we do these streams, like, I see enough of this, like you guys do. We see enough of this on a daily basis. That's why I've made a conscious effort not to really talk about it all that much on Instagram, because your feed is filled with this stuff. It's like, it becomes depressing. It becomes angry. It's like, when we're here for these few hours with you guys, man, I just want to chill, watch movies, hang out. Like, I don't want to bring real world into this shit. I see enough of it. So we continue to keep that positiveness going here, because I like that.
I couldn't have said it better. Myself, I appreciate everybody's patience while I addressed it, because I felt that it needed to be addressed. If anybody knows where Intel Wild is, or I think Intel Wild, I know he's a patron of mine. He might be on the Facebook
and he's really been a very good supporter.
He's a fantastic dude. Reach out to him, and if you can, I will as well. Once the show is done, if I can't do it tonight, I'll try and do it tomorrow, and just say, watch the end of the show here, and hopefully he'll be back, because he's a great guy, and it was just hopefully just a misunderstanding. Yes, sir.
I've been dying. We'll get to your super chats, but I've been dying to ask Dave this question, and it just totally dawned on me because Joshua, I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name, but he brought up Halloween talk or kills or something here, and I just caught it off the corner of my eye.
Oh, okay.
What about this shit about Loomis? Loomis coming back.
Loomis. No, okay.
Listen. All I'm saying is, if we get some Tarkin bullshit that we got in fucking Rogue One, I'm going to be pissed. If it's a distant shot and we hear maybe some dialogue from the old films that they got, I'm okay with that. But bro, if they go Tarkin and try to like they did with Peter Cushing, I think that was Peter Cushing, right? Who's Tarkin?
Yeah, Peter Cushing.
Yeah, they try to do that bullshit.
Right.
Fuck you. How
no,
can you do that?
Here's the thing. I say this on McRae Live. I'll say it here. The question is never, is the Myers house back? The question is, I mean, that's a question, of course, but at the end of the day, that's not the real question. The question is not, is the Myers house back? Which according to David Gordon Green, it is. Okay. The question is not, is Dr. Loomis back? Okay. Apparently he is. The question really is, in what ways are they back?
Right.
Because when you're dealing with something from the past, whether it's the Myers house or Loomis, the question becomes, how are they utilized? When somebody says he's back, well, that could mean anything from a glimpse of his shoulder and his trench coat to fully fleshed out what Tony is saying. I mean, there's a large spectrum there of what it back means, right? And I believe what it likely means is that you will see him in the flashback, but see him how? See him off in the distance, run down the street with his, trench coat. I shot him 6 times. Exactly. I mean, well, technically he's back. I just think people need to temper their expectations and be like, well, hang on a sec here. That can mean a number of things. Like people often say, even though this hasn't been confirmed, somebody in the chat room during the Halloween Live tweet-a-thon there a couple of weeks ago said, I wish Hawkins survived. And David Gordon Green, all he said was, oh, do you? Now, here's what people have to understand. Okay, maybe Hawkins is back, right? Hawkins is back! Hawkins is back! Well, but hang on a sec here. How is Hawkins back? Let's think about this. Hawkins was stabbed in the jugular with a sharp object. He was run over by Sartain. If he's back, remember, this is the same night. So if only maybe an hour later. So if Hawkins is back, he's not back part of the adventure. And if he is, then the believability is just thrown out, the window completely. If he's back, he's probably in the ICU in the hospital and has, a couple of lines with Laurie, maybe. Hey, Laurie. Frank, are you okay? I guess I'll make it. Oh, well, he's back. Technically, he's in the movie. I mean, but people
maybe Hawkins pulls an Adrian and looks at Laurie and win, Laurie. Win.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe. But I just think because Halloween Kills and presumably Halloween Ends as well, all happen in the same night. The 3 movies all take place in the same night. I think it's unlikely that Hawkins is back. Like all of a sudden he's part of the adventure and he's out there with the crowd and he's shooting up shit and he's like, come on, bitches. I mean, he's probably lying in a hospital bed because he would have to be. He's on death's door. I mean, it would make no sense that he would be anywhere else. So I just think people have to understand that it's all in
the context of how it's going to be used.
It's all in the context how it's presented. Now, if you don't care, it's like people who say, David Gordon Green said the Myers house is back. Okay, but is it back? Is it a cameo where Tommy and Lindsay are standing in front of the house going, well, there it is, Tommy. Yep, that's it. Crazy.
Is it part
and then
of the
they walk away.
Sequence?
Right. Is it part of the flashback, or does it play a pivotal role in the story where you see it, you go inside, you're walking around like in Halloween Resurrection or something? Who knows? There's a number of ways that it could be utilized. So
I hope they don't do what they did in Resurrection.
Oh, I hope not. So how Loomis is back, I really don't know.
Put that memory in my mind now.
Yeah.
To smoke.
And keep in mind, by all means, this hasn't been, I don't think this has been confirmed that Loomis is back. This is what, what's the site?
There's a couple articles came out.
There's a couple articles that came out about it, but I don't really care that he's back. I want to know how he's back because again, it's not, is he or isn't he? Is he? Okay, now that we know that, well, how? Because that's what's going to make or break it for you, is the how. That's what's going to make or break it. It's not, is he back? Okay, he's back. It's how he's back. Because it's either going to be yay or, well, that was crap. You know what I mean? And that's what it comes down to. Anyway, that's what I think anyway. Super chat. Super chat did come in from Dread Mem 77, who says,
I love that movie, Judge Dredd. Stallone.
Oh, I'll be the judge of that.
I'll be the judge of that.
Dave and Tony, are you glad you grew up in the 80s rather than today? For me, I miss the 80s. Simpler times and actual hangout over talking to people online. I'm glad I grew up and got to experience the 80s. Well, Tony and I were born 1979, so we were very young in the 80s, but we were born at a time where we still remember the 80s fairly well. And of course, I had older siblings who were like 20 and late teens in the 80s. So I sort of lived, like I was very much a part of that world and songs, music, pop culture that I maybe wouldn't ordinarily have been at 7 or 8 years old, but I was because of my older siblings. And the only thing I would have changed would be that it would have been really cool to have been maybe just 4 years older than I was and been a teenager in the 80s.
That's my only wish. I wish we could have been old enough in the 80s to appreciate everything that came out in the 80s with the slasher genre, to be able to be old enough to go to the theaters and watch it and see it that would have been cool.
Right. Exactly. And
but then we'd be in our 50s now. So I don't know. It's
that's
kind
true.
of a trade-off.
Well, that's a good point too. That's a good point. That's a good point. Let me see here. Colin Murdy.
I like the time frame that we like. It was a sweet time between when you look at 89 when we turned 10 to 94. That run there for 5 years. That was a lot of fun. Music was good. There was good movies. Maybe not so much in the horror, but we had Batman, Home Alone. We had like big movies come out. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So it was it was a fun time.
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World. Yeah, it's just different fun time.
I agree. Colin Murdy says, I reckon it will be a long shot from Michael's perspective in the flashback. He may appear when Michael turns up in front of Lonnie in the street from the still we have seen. Maybe he tells Lonnie to run. Well, he wouldn't tell him to run. But, you mean Loomis, you mean. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's entirely possible. Tabitha Short did say, she said, Dave, I answered your question twice. Did you, Tabitha? Let me go back here. Tabitha says, Dave, I've only been able to see bits, pieces of the movie because of Austin. Of course, naturally. That's Tabitha's newborn. Well, I guess he's not quite. Well, he's almost one. He's almost one. But it looks like fun and enjoyable. I have a slight remembrance of the movie from when I was a kid. Okay, cool. Yeah. It's a cute movie. It's a cute movie, for sure. Let's see here. Mother Mayhem says, I was born in 84. Would have been great to have been able to see all those great 80s films in theaters. Yeah, well, being born 5 years prior to that, Tony and I were lucky that we were on the cusp, the tail end of Gen X, because we're Gen Xers, but we're on that very tail end of it. And I saw Gremlins and Back to the Future at the drive-in. And that was, I still remember. It's vague, but I do remember it. Like it was still it was at the
77 would have been a good year.
The speaker outside of the car still too.
Yeah, 77 would have been a good year to be born because we would have been 12 by the time 88 rolls around and shit.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we'd only be 43 right now. So you know.
Yeah. No, 76, 77. Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, true. Very true.
Flinner, first horror movie you remember watching in theaters? Well, I can tell you the first three, and they weren't fucking great. Freddy's Dead, Jason Goes to Hell, and Halloween 6,
that's
Curse of Michael Myers.
That's right.
And it's the big three.
That's right. I remember that.
And those are the first three ones that I get fucking stuck seeing.
Yes, I remember that.
Now you know why I wish I was old enough to grow up and watch those movies, right?
Oh, man.
Theater. Yeah, those were my first three.
I don't know what the first horror movie was.
God bless you, Wes Craven, for saving my fucking teenage years with Scream. Because if it weren't for Scream, man, it would have been rough.
I don't know what the first horror movie I saw in the theater.
It had to be Curse.
It was.
It had to.
Curse,
did you see anything? Did you see Jason Goes to Hell or Freddy's Dead?
No, I didn't. No, Curse. Yeah, that was 95. I was 16. Yeah, I guess it probably was The Curse of Michael Myers. It's probably the first horror movie I saw in the theater. And like I often say, my buddy Bruce was supposed to come with me, but he couldn't get in, so he went and saw 7 at the exact same time, like in the exact same theater. I was watching Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. He was watching 7. Clearly, he watched the better movie.
Yeah.
I wish now, in retrospect, I could have just gone and seen 7, because that would have been amazing to see. I saw 7 in the theater. You know what I mean? But anyway. Nick Townsend says, my first introduction to Halloween was when the neighbor daughters told Michael Myers kills on Halloween. She teen older them. Sorry, Nick. My first introduction to Halloween was when the neighbor's daughter, your neighbor's daughter, told you Michael Myers kills on Halloween. She teen older than them. Sorry, Nick, buddy. I'm having trouble sort of understanding the... Yeah, why don't you at me and give it another shot? Gary Rangel says, I rewatched Halloween 2018 yesterday, and the scene where Hawkins runs Michael over, I literally thought about the Ben Tramer in Halloween 2 because there's a lot of Michael Myers posers. Yeah, that could have been that. They could have done that, but it wasn't really him, maybe. Who knows? Look at all the flooding with the Halloween stuff. Colin Murdy says, my first horror film was Elm Street 2. I snuck in at the age of 11. Ooh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, that would have been cool. That, watching A Nightmare...
See the cool shit in the mid 80s.
That's right. That's right. Watching Elm Street, the first one, because of course we were only 5 when it came out. Watching the first one in the movie theater, that would have been amazing.
That would have been.
That would have been cool.
I met a guy the other day who was telling me he was telling me about that in downtown Atlanta, and he was telling me about how his dad, when he was a kid, he took him to the old drive-in theaters for the double features on Friday nights for the monster films in the 50s and 60s. But he was telling me about how he saw The Exorcist in theaters. He saw Halloween. He saw Nightmare. He saw Jaws. He was telling me all this. I'm like, dude, I'm like loving your life right now. Like you got to experience all this shit for the first time. And it's just, you know, I mean, I still appreciate it, but I would have loved to have seen that, you know, and experience all of that for the first time in theaters.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. I would have too. Would have been great. Michael Anderson said, is Heat 1995 a classic? Oh, yeah. I say yes. De Niro rules that movie.
Kilmer,
I saw Heat in the theater.
Yeah.
I saw Heat in the theater. Now, I wasn't old enough to get into a rated R movie. I was only 16. But I looked, like I said, I was 16, but I could grow this, and I looked like I was one of those kids that just looked like I was 30 at like 12.
Well, see, in Connecticut, I don't know if it's different. Maybe it is different in Canada. When you become a teenager, if you are accompanied by someone who is 17 years or older, you are allowed into R-rated films.
Yes.
Once you're a teenager.
Yes, but I went with, it was me and my buddy Cameron, who's now a cop up in Ottawa, and but he was very tall. He was like 6'2", and he was 16. So the theater just thought we were both 18. You know what I mean? And we just walked in, and it was fine. So no, I've never had a parent accompany me. I always just looked like I was always old enough to get in. It was just funny. Let's see here. Darren Sand says, my first rated R movie I saw in the cinema was Die Hard, 1988. First horror movie was Halloween. Yeah, Die Hard would have been amazing to see in the theater.
Jealous
for the first
that Halloween
time.
4 was yours.
Yes. Yeah, that was my brother Neil's first Halloween movie. My brother Neil's birthday is October 29th. And I vividly have this memory. I don't remember anything before it. I don't remember anything after it. But I remember my brother's friend at the time, because my brother Neil just turned 18 in 1988 because he was born in 1970. And my brother Neil was his friend, his buddy was taking him to see Halloween 4. And I remember standing in the kitchen. I would have been 9, and I was in the kitchen, and I remember my brother Neil being really excited, and he just was, I don't know, I just have this one memory of him going, Halloween 4, the return of Michael Myers, yeah! That's
so 1988, you would have done that.
It is, and he did that, you know, and I was a kid, and I was a fan, because he was the one that got me into, you know, Halloween, and I probably was like, yeah, that's so cool, so lucky, you know, or whatever, but I don't remember anything, but I don't remember the day. I don't remember anything before that or after that. I just remember that moment. And it's kind of funny, but he was able to see that in the theater too. I don't know if he liked it or not. I can't remember what his consensus was. Frank Riker sends in a super chat. Thank you so much, Frank. Says, D&T, I just got done polishing Blum's knobs. I love it, Frank, man. And he told me about the big reveal on the ends. Apparently, Judith didn't die in 78 and is still alive. She changed her name and was adopted by the Strohs. Oh, can you imagine? Oh my God. Frank, man. Frank needs the rim shot.
Yeah. That actually happened. Forget it.
Paul, I love
and be done with the franchise. Not
man.
literally, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh, totally. I just love the whole done polishing Blum's knobs. What does that even mean? It's fantastic.
A little subtle innuendo.
Exactly.
That's not so subtle.
I picture somebody like wee, like polishing his nipples or something.
I know, right?
Oh my God, that's some funny stuff, Frank. You make me laugh. The girls.
Go ahead.
Sorry, dude. It's just I laugh at this because take care, Tabitha. Take care. Thank you very much. I laugh at this because it's the girl's ass at the beginning of the shower scene is a regular in our shows and our chats, but it's because of something you said like a year ago. You said something like, I love the girl's ass in the beginning of the shower scene, and then somebody thought it was so funny that they just made a channel name out of it.
It's something that I would say.
But what movie was it though? Does the girl's ass at the beginning of the shower scene? What movie were we referring to?
Movies that I
want to think it was like one of the what movie was it?
Do
Rachel? They remember?
Was it Rachel? Because you kind of see her ass in the shower.
Oh, maybe
at the beginning.
Maybe it was Halloween 4. Maybe it was Rachel.
Oh no, it would have been 5. It would have been Halloween 5.
Oh, 5. Right. Maybe it was.
But no, because I would have known it was Rachel. I wouldn't have said it that way.
You would have made it more classy.
I just would have been, it's Rachel's ass. I wouldn't have said the girl's
ass. Oh, I
see
what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yes. I would have known the character's name, so I can't think of the movie now.
Right. Even the girl's ass at the beginning of the shower scene forgets.
Yeah, hey.
Is the girl's ass at the beginning of the shower scene? Come on, now you can let us know. Are you also Kevin Bacon's boner?
Probably. Oh, but hey, here's a good question because I want to hear what your side.
Oh, you want to hear my side? Oh,
because I know what mine is. Bobby Hall asks us, David and Tony, which do you prefer, Halloween 1 through 4 or Friday the 13th 1 through 4?
Oh, I prefer Friday the 13th. Oh no, sorry. What was it? What was the question?
What do you prefer, Halloween 1 through 4 or Friday the 13th 1 through 4?
No, 1 through 4, I would probably prefer Friday the 13th 1 through 4 really? as a complete sort of thing. I think Halloween 3 is that awkward. I don't know.
I prefer Halloween 1 through 3 only because I don't watch Friday 3 and 4 that much. That's the only reason why. I watch Halloween 1 through 4 more than I do the others.
Yeah, you see, and I'm the other way around. I would likely watch Friday 3 and 4 more than I would watch Halloween 3.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's why. But when I take a moment, take a step back, and I think about it, it's pretty close. But I'm likely to go 1, 2, 4. I'm not likely to go 3. Now I know 3 is the anthology, but I'm not likely to go 3. I don't hate Halloween 3. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
But it's not one that I'll watch a lot. It's not I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it should be remade. I think it should be remade separate. I think the story of Halloween 3 is a good story. I think there's a lot of untapped potential there, as I've often said on this channel. I think and I don't think it's a bad movie, but I think the idea was too big for the sandbox they were playing in. I think that you need a bigger budget. I don't mean you got to full on go like World War Z apocalyptic shit, but I think you need to have... I think there is a lot of untapped potential for the story of Halloween 3. And I think you should just make a movie and call it Season of the Witch. And it's a movie that takes place on Halloween. It's about what it's about. Unfortunately, people will make the connection to the old film, in the series, and okay, fine. But it's not supposed to be an anthology film. It's not supposed to be connected to it's just a standalone movie. Here's a cool thing. And I think if you were to give it a bit higher of a budget, maybe, I don't know, $5 million, something like that, but keep it small still. But I think there's a lot of untapped potential there with that story. But I've never really been a huge fan of part 3. It just sort of, it always kind of falls flat for me a little bit. So I'm likely to watch 1 through 4. And I think or 1, 2, and 4. And I think I'm more likely to watch 1, 2, 3, and 4 of Friday the 13th, I think. I think that's why I instinctually
figured
said
that because I know how much a fan you are of part 3 and 4 of Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
So I kind of had a feeling that that's the side you would go with.
Yeah. But make no mistake that Halloween 4, I actually think is a better movie than Friday 3. You know what I mean? And Friday 4.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, I do. Well, I do. I think it's, well, yeah, like when we look at a movie, you know, like overall, I think there's a lot there that, and again, people
certainly Halloween 4's ending is definitely better than Fridays 3 and 4 ending.
Oh, it's incredible. But you see, I can look at it both ways, right? Like you can look at Halloween's original intent, and that's just the first movie, and you can watch it that way. But I'm not dumb. I mean, I certainly can go, okay, now I'm going to put that aside and watch it as the franchise, you know, and watch it as now there's a motive, you know, now he's becoming literally supernatural, you know, now there's, you know, it's out there now, the cat's out of the bag. And when you watch it, you know, when you look at it through that lens, I can do that too. I mean, I know I'm a Halloween purist, and I know that I'm a big proponent of the original intent and all that, because I find all, you know, the symbolism and the layers and all that fascinating. I certainly can take that lens off, put on the other lens, and watch it as a franchise. Sure. And I think Halloween 4 is a better movie, I think, than Friday 3. I don't know about 4, but certainly there's things in Halloween 4 that have grown on me over the years. The mask is still garbage, but you know, even that's grown on me a little bit in terms of its context, you know, for that movie. Yeah. Anyway. Shut up, McRae, and get on with it.
Yeah, geez, Dave.
Geez, Dave, you talk a lot. Imagine if I didn't talk a lot. This would be a boring show. The Sting says, missed mine and Percy's. Oh, really? All right, buddy, we're going to go back. Thank you for letting us know. Really appreciate it. PC Pierce says, what movie being remade would cause you to riot? Cause me to riot?
Nothing, because if I ever let a movie control my emotions that much, I need to get a fucking life. Seriously, if I ever let a movie control my emotions that much where I riot, I've got bigger issues to worry about in life.
That's true, but I think PC was being a little satirical. Like, what would put you up in arms emotionally riot inside yourself? I
mean, like, I walked out of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 because I thought it was just garbage. It didn't like emotionally like get me charred up, but that was the one and only time I ever walked out of a movie. I wasn't thrilled with the Halloween 2018 film as it was unfolding and watching it, but again, not to a point of like, oh my God, I'm so pissed off. You know what I mean? Like even Star Wars didn't even get me to like that. I was just like, that's kind of like my thing. It was like,
I got you. I think for me, and I don't want to take too long of this, I'll just say this. I think if I heard that they were remaking Jaws, and in principle, I'm okay with the idea, but the problem is that I have very little confidence in right now that Hollywood would do it justice. And the reason is because I still don't think that I think CGI sharks still look mostly like CGI sharks. And there's some that don't look too bad, but I'm skeptical on that. And Jaws was a happy accident. And we were supposed to see the shark a lot earlier and a lot more often. But because the mechanical shark didn't work, Spielberg had to improvise. And now it's become, known as the Jaws effect, right? Which is just basically keeping your main antagonist, in this sense, the shark, at bay, building that slow burn. Not that there weren't slow burns prior to this. I'm just saying that, in this, new Hollywood era, the blockbuster era, keeping him at bay, building the characters, building the suspense, right? Dangling the carrot, building that. But that was an accident. And it worked. It worked really, really well. But in order for that to work, Jaws had to have redeeming and interesting and really well-developed and fleshed out characters. Because we were going to be spending a lot of time with these characters in a lot of moments where there's no fucking shark. So these characters and the dynamic between them and the relationships better be really interesting and really fleshed out and fascinating and everything. And I don't know, like Jaws is a drama just as much as it's a thriller horror, if you know what I mean. So, it's a drama. So it's like there's more to Jaws than just sharks eating people. And, Jaws will probably eventually be remade, but I'm very skeptical on whether or not somebody approaching it be like, this is why it worked. And if we're just going to show the shark every 5 minutes and a bunch of sharks eating, a shark, eating people, and, we're going to cast The Rock, and we're going to cast, Jason Statham in there. Well, he was already in, The Meg. Yeah. But I mean, I obviously they probably wouldn't cast The Rock, but I just mean.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like it's really important to understand what made this movie so good is that it's like The Exorcist. Now, they didn't keep this, but there's that, things are progressively getting bigger and bigger and more, but it's that slow burn, and the characters are really interesting, and we're with them, and that's why it worked, man. And of course, I'd be remiss if I mean, Jesus, it was a happy accident, and at the end of the day, and so Jaws is one that if I found out they were remaking it, I'd be like, oh God, who's involved, who's writing, who's directing, who's producing, what's going on, who's star? Like I'd be like, oh fuck, because
I told you like a while ago, and I think I said it on the show that there is one story that they could do that would be in an original Jaws story, which is the 1916 story of the true events that Jaws was inspired by, of the shark attacks that happened in New Jersey. Right. You could tell that story because it's an original story.
That's true,
and if you know the documentary or have read the books on the actual events that took place,
it's a great point.
There's a Jaws feel to it that you can create while being original, and you don't hurt the one that Spielberg did in the 70s.
That's true, too. And make it a period piece.
Yeah, period. So, set it in 1916.
Set it in 1916. Make it a period piece. Because then it feels
you take away all the technology.
Right, but also it also feels less like a remake.
Right. It becomes like the Chainsaw Massacre.
Right. Yeah. Because you're well, no, the two Texas Chainsaw films both took place 1974. But what's interesting is in Jaws,
different families. That's what I'm thinking.
Right. In Jaws is 75, right? 74, 75. But this one would be 1916 because it's a period piece. Cars, clothing, technology, everything is 1916. Yep. Right. Yep. Is that it would feel less like you're remaking Jaws and that you actually are doing more of an original idea, but it's a shark story that you've yet to hear about.
Exactly.
I actually really like that idea. I do. Yeah, I really like that idea.
We should make it. Fuck it, let's go make it.
Wayne Gotke
give us the budget.
Yeah, Jaws 1916, show it in black and white. I'd entertain it. I don't know if I'd go with it, but I'd entertain it. I certainly wouldn't call it Jaws 1916, though. I'd call it something else. But no, I know cars existed in 1916. Well, I just meant that because
the first killing took place. A guy literally got off the train and died within hours.
I just meant that the cars are very different in 1916 than they are today. The technology of what there is very different. That's what I meant.
Those 3 horsepower engines. 3 horsepower. Are you kidding me?
My blue light over here went out. My blue light went out over there because it was we've been on for nearly 3 hours, and I guess my light I don't know if my light was fully charged. Anyway, okay, we'll go for a little bit longer here. You know what? Let's take this thing right to 10 o'clock. We'll take it right to 10 o'clock. How's that, dude? You good with that, man?
I am good.
All right. Now, there was a super chat that came in from Oliver Mercer. Thanks, buddy. He says, hey, Dave and Tony, it's my birthday today. 33 years young. Well, happy birthday, my man. Happy birthday. And he says, have you heard about Dr. Loomis will be back?
We just talked about it.
We just talked about that, man. I also talked about it on my show the other day. Yes, we did talk about it. Interesting. Just I'm curious on how he's back.
How it's executed. That's it.
How it's executed.
Really good until we see it.
That's it, man. Bobby Hall says, hey, Dave, most Friday fans prefer part 4 over 3. I know you prefer 3, and I was wondering what your reasons were. Well, I don't know if I prefer 3 over 4. I think I just like 3 a lot because it's the first. There's things about 3 I like a lot, and that is, there's things I don't like about it, but I think it's just cool. I love I like some of the kills. I like the final girl. I like that we see that, he gets his mask for the first time. I think seeing him in that is pretty cool. I think Friday 4 is a better Friday movie. I don't know. Did I ever say that I like 3 better than 4? Did I?
Impression you liked 4 better than 3. That was always been my impression.
Yeah, I think so. I think if I ever said I like 3 better than 4, then I must have been on crack that day, because I don't think I do. I think I do like 4 better than 3.
That's tonight. Yeah.
That's right. But certainly I do like 3 a lot. I do. I like the first 4. 1 is my favorite. I essentially like them. Oh, I know what it is. I know what I said. I think I said in the past that I essentially like the movies in order. I think that's what it is. I've said I like them in order. I think what I can understand now why somebody say, oh, well, that means he likes 3 better than 4. I think what I meant by that was there isn't one that I watch when I watch 1, 2, 3, and 4. There isn't one where I'm like, oh, wait a minute. You know what I mean? I think that's a tight little sort of quadrilogy there. I think it's, certainly it gets a little campy in 3, but I think that's what I meant by it. But I think 4 is the better Friday film. I keep looking up there, but I think 4 is the better Friday.
I was just thinking, man, I can't wait till the night we do Jason Goes to Hell. I'm going to get shit-faced on the stream because I'm going to need to get drunk to get through that shit.
Oh my God. Yes. You and me both. Holy shit. This light's holding up. All right. Did I miss any super chats here? Oh, I think I did. 1 second here. PC Pierce.
Oliver Mercer, right?
The Sting says, once bitten next. Once bitten. I might put it on the list.
Jim Carrey's
I think that's Jim Carrey. Yeah, I think that's Jim Carrey. Yeah, the Sting also follows up. The Sting's got one here coming in. He says, once bitten for a future. Oh, he says that again. Future. Maybe. Yeah, you never know. There's a lot
I think
of.
You guys are going to like next week's, though. That's for sure. Should you tell him?
Yeah.
You want to tell him?
All right, you tell him.
We're going to do the Lost Boys. We thought we'd keep the adventure theme going, but now bring it back to horror, which I would say if you got the Goonies as the children adventure, Lost Boys is definitely the adult adventure into before the sparkly vampire shit that happens with Twilight.
That's right. Yes. Tony and I are doing the Lost Boys next week. And of course, that'll be back to Monday night, 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's what it'd be. Bobby Hall said, when I asked you like Friday 4, I was going by your ranking video. Oh, in my ranking video, I put it there too. I got to go back then. I got to listen to that. I wonder I'll have to go back and listen to my explanation of why I put 3 ahead of 4. And you know what? It may be one of those things. Oh, there you're down there. It may be one of those things, Bobby, where how sometimes certain movies and series can be interchangeable. Do you know what I mean? Like, it might be one of those things where it's like, maybe that at that time I was feeling 3 a little bit over than 4, but you asked me again a month later and I'm like, no, 4, I'm feeling 4 a bit here. I think objectively though, I think 4 is the better Friday film, I think, but for whatever reason, when I did that ranking a long time ago, I placed it 3 over 4. So, but it might have been one of those things. I do like 3. I do like 3. I don't like everything in 3. I mean, come on, as I don't know. It's campy, but in a kind of good way. Frank says, Lost Boys, I just got aroused.
Thou shalt not.
Yeah, that's going to be, I haven't seen the Lost Boys in forever, dude. I haven't seen it in forever. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
I also watch every year. I love that movie, man. That's one of my favorite horror movies. I mean, is it a horror movie? I mean, I call it a horror movie. It's in my horror. It's when I went in my horror section, the way iTunes divides my movie up, it's in my horror section.
Maybe. Yeah, it might be. Not sure. Alex G says, Dave and Tony, how possibly could no one on the crew notice the pink mask in H4? Seems like it was on purpose.
They were all stoned.
Who knows, man? Who knows? I mean, I've always conjured up to, look, it's not, you have a script supervisor on set. The job of a script supervisor is to make sure that everything, that all the continuity is correct. You have, years ago you had there's so, I don't know. And when I listen to the explanation, I'm like,
dude, from my understanding, they had to reshoot another scene with Loomis because someone forgot to tell him to take his fucking hat off. So it seems
Really?
like
I
there
haven't
was
heard
some
that.
daydreaming going on. Yeah, there was one of the scenes.
Really?
I think I stand to be corrected on it, but it was in the documentary, the Halloween 4 or 5. Obviously, it was Halloween 4 because they're talking about shooting.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where Donald Pleasance, I think it was when they get Rachel and Jamie into the cop car and they see all the Michaels around them. I think when they first shot it, Loomis was wearing his hat and they forgot to tell him to take it off for continuity purpose. So they had to reshoot it.
Really?
I could be wrong, but I'm almost 100% positive that's the scene they had to reshoot. Somebody in the chat room will let me know.
Fascinating. I have never heard that before.
On that.
Right, right. My camera is flickering and I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that.
Issues tonight.
Yeah. Oh, well, we're almost done here, so not a big deal. I didn't know that. I'll have to check that out. And my apologies for the vibration of my camera. It's just pretend something's going on. The Sting sends a super chat, says they're only noodles, Michael, just noodles. They're only noodles, Michael, just noodles. What's that from? Is that from The Lost Boys? They're only noodles, Michael, just noodles.
I think it is. I think it is from The Lost Boys.
Is it? Again, I haven't seen The Lost Boys in like 20-something years. It's been so long.
I don't know it like by heart, like the quotes. Other
Gotcha.
than the Frog Brothers there, Corey Feldman and the other dude.
Corey.
Not Corey Haim. Corey Haim was not.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Corey Hart. No. No, that's Corey. Is that Corey Haim? Anyway. Zach Gaxiola says, considering the cult following season of the Witch has, do you think the anthology film angle would work for the Halloween franchise now compared to back in the day? I think there's a high probability of it. Yes, because the
more mature movie going audience that likes the anthology shit.
Well, and especially if you were to connect it to the Halloween. You see, in Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, you did see the original Halloween in it. You saw Michael, but it was in Season of the Witch. He was a fictional character. The Halloween movie was a movie in Halloween 3 Season of the Witch that played on a TV. But if you do the anthology route, which you could maybe even classify it as a spinoff, but if you go the anthology route, and like I said, do the Charlie Bull story, or you could still have it take place in the Halloween universe and connect it as sort of a mini, not a big one like the Marvel, but a mini sort of little cinematic universe. And I think if it's done well and it's written well, I think people may be attracted to that because, 38 years ago, anthology wasn't a thing. It wasn't a thing people were doing. You didn't have the internet now. You didn't have people. I mean, unless you read about it in Fangoria magazine, when you went to see it in the theater in 1982, you were like, where the fuck Michael Myers?
Yeah, man.
I mean, it just, you know what I mean? So I think there's a high probability now. I think so.
Fangoria and Metal. Those were my two favorite magazines.
Oh, yeah, back in the day. All right, 2 minutes. 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. Yeah.
I loved it in the Metal magazines, too, because I'd rip out my favorite band pictures and just plaster them up. I'd always be changing it because, there'd be better pictures the next issue.
Exactly. If you want to sound like an 80s rock band, all you got to do is go, yeah. And you can say anything. Just say it in that pitch, and you're in the 80s. I like ketchup, yeah. When I'm down, but I'm there. I like to wear baby hair. I don't know what the fuck I just said there.
Number one hit in the 80s, man.
It's number one hit in the 80s, man. Yeah. Whoa, yeah. So you just gotta, yeah. And then follow it up with something. Yeah, just follow up with something.
A lot of yada yadas, as Seinfeld would say.
See, Kevin Bacon's boner just made it weight in the chat. Couple of bucks from the bone. I love it. Couple of bucks from the bone. Couple of bucks from the bone. The conspiracy trifecta. Baby hair? It makes no sense. Ketchup, yeah. Baby hair, yeah. Midnight, yeah. What the fuck is going on?
I would answer this week, and I gotta find it. It's gonna take.
What's going on?
Well, I apologize because a lot of people send me messages on a daily basis, so I'm like trying to scroll. Someone asked me what were my top 5 wrestling matches, and I said I'd answer that this week of all time.
Okay, all right, I get you.
Shit,
You'll have to
dude.
figure that out.
I apologize. I can't. Okay, but I know you're watching because I did say I said I would ask or answer that question, and I totally forgot to do that. Top 5 matches are as followed. The 2000, or it's either 2000 or 2001. King of the Ring match with Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon earned a lot of props for me that night as a wrestler, and dude definitely could throw down. He wasn't just a silver spoon rich boy's son. He put his body through some shit. Then after that would be Hogan Warrior. That was more for my brother because my brother was 6 years old at the time when they put Warrior over and he won the title. And my brother was so excited because he was a Warrior fan. So to see his excitement of his guy winning the title, that's a special memory I'll never forget.
Right.
Then after that would be obviously Savage Steamboat because Savage was my guy in the 80s. I hated the fact that they made him drop the title to Steamboat.
Yep.
I would have preferred Savage to drop it to Honky Tonk Man, which Honky Tonk Man took from Steamboat, but whatever, Vince knew what he was doing. And then after that, my favorite Austin match is Austin Hitman Hart, which is one that doesn't get talked about a lot, which is the Survivor Series match. And that match put Stone Cold Steve Austin on the fucking map. He was already building momentum as that guy, but that specific match with Bret Hart is just fucking legendary. And then the last one, fucking Hell in a Cell, Mankind and Undertaker. That's just
even I know what happened there.
Yeah, that shit just is iconic. Is those two guys gave us with Undertaker and especially Mick Foley, what he gave us that night as fans, fucking never gonna be top. So those are my 5.
Very cool. Very cool.
Favorite matches you remember growing up?
No, nothing specific. I'd have to think about it. Nothing I can dive into my, like I can't think of anything right now that would be. Yeah, no, I'd have to dive. I'd have to dive into it. Well, listen, folks, that's going to do it for us. That's going to do it for Tony, Michael, and I here on episode 73 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. I want to thank my moderators, Jason Nike, Frank Riker, Tabitha Short, and Darren Sands for moderating the chat. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for that. And keeping the chat room flowing in a positive direction. We always like that, of course. Tony and I will be back next Monday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's right, we're watching The Lost Boys. The Lost Boys. And I'll be back Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock a.m. for McRae Live. Normally I say I'll be back tomorrow morning, but this is Sunday, not Monday. Tony, any last things you want to say, my man?
No, and again, I apologize for not remembering your name, dude. I'm trying to find it. Like I said, I get so many messages a day. I'm sorry. I really am sorry. So.
It's all right. No worries. Hey, no harm, no foul. It happens. All right. That's it for us. We'll be back next week. Cheers.